Hello everyone. How you guys doing? I am just getting a few things ready. And then we'll be ready to go with the dev panel. Well, the dev panel starts at noon, but we will be eagerly awaiting. Might be dying today. Might be my last day. Alright, Jack. Jeez,
Oh,
right
I
off the
just
bat.
came everywhere.
Sapphire with the 25 gifted. We haven't even started anything yet. Well, thank you. We're just sitting here waiting for the dev panel to start. For all the content. Well, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. I don't need to start the game up yet, so I'll just leave it for now. I already saw some gifties thanking. Good job. I'm just here to get my streak, and then I'm going to go explore New York City. Have fun, Katie. I'm sure there's a lot for you to see. Yeah. I believe they're just going to stream on the Rainbow Six account. Be my guess. Jeez,
Oh, I just
Cluster with the
came
20.
everywhere.
The competition now. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I got the channel open. We'll just be waiting. Everyone got paid today. It's payday. We did not have an inflatable hot tub, Eldon. We have a normal hot tub. Could not tell you what brand it is. No competition. I just like running trains. Anyone? Never mind. All right. I do got to bring the whiteboard over, but we still got some time. So yeah, chat, today we're going to be doing a dev panel we're going to be listening to a dev panel where they're going to be talking about rank 3.0, Dokkaebi nerfs, and other stuff. I don't know what else. I thought Pro League was on because Siege had so many viewers, but I just see that instead. Oh, it's Cinna with 11,000 viewers. My God, 21 hours. Oh, I heard about this. She's grinding for silver. 21-hour grind for silver is tough. When is the dev panel? It should be at noon, so in 18 minutes. A greedy streamer asked for more subs after getting gifted 4-5. When did I ask for more subs?
I just love Dex, bro.
Thank you, Jack. Okay, let's keep it on the Rainbow Six channel.
I just love Dex, bro.
There we go. Thanks for the subs from Mr. Moogly and El Filipino Gary with the 6 months.
I just love Dex, bro.
Rank 3.0 is a little bit too hard. I have 124 matches in Emerald 1, gained 13 RP, and losing 28. Why do I feel like that's an exaggeration? Oh, I guess you asked for more subs. When did I ask for more subs? Alright, we never do this. Hit me with the R6 tracker name. What's your name? Marso? Yeah, new mecha video was today, Jack. It's not doing well, though. It's doing actually really terribly. I don't know why the first one did so amazingly and then this one did like nothing. But I'll leave it. I'll give it some time to pick up steam. Are the characters in my show from Sign and Happiness? Yes, they are. When I watch it, views will shoot up. I'm relying on that, Jack. My name is a barcode.exe. I'm assuming that's on PC. Alright, you definitely are exaggerating. You gained, on average, around 20 and lose 20. You've only had 2 matches where you only gained 13. And when I'm quickly looking at it, it's because you had a Diamond 2 and a Diamond 4 on your team, and then a Diamond 4 on your team against lower Emeralds. So, of course, you're going to earn less. Yeah, one of these matches you had a 4 stack. One was a Diamond 2, one was a Diamond 3 against a bunch of random Emerald 2s and Emerald 4s. Of course, you're going to gain very little from that. And yeah, one of them you lost 23, but it's because you had a gold on your team versus a... Are these unranked? They don't have anything. Yeah, I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Don't exaggerate. It is crazy, though, that you're saying you're only gaining 13 and losing 28 when the 13 gains only happened twice. And it was, again, your team had way higher ranks than the other team. But before that, you were perfectly gaining like 20 plus, and you were fine with it. Bro, it was 2 matches. You can't say that's like the standard when it's just 2 matches. Also looks like the stream is up already. Yep. Let me go grab the whiteboard. I gotta grab something to clean it because it is filled with stuff from the last panel. Alright, I couldn't find the eraser. It took me forever. upstairs to chill. And when's the next Corporate Champ episode? It'll be on Sunday. There was one just yesterday, right? Yeah, then there'll be Sunday and then Tuesday, probably like Thursday after that. I keep wanting to make it consistently on Saturdays, Mondays, and Thursdays, but I keep getting other videos that keep bumping my schedule around. Want to this game on Discord? I'm pretty sure you were here yesterday saying the same thing, bro. Just don't fall for scams. I don't know what to tell you.
I just love dicks, bro.
There are scammers everywhere, on every platform, for every channel. Just don't fall for it. Don't be dumb. When I'm facing a hacker in game, I just tell them I'm going to report them. And my cousin is Varsity. They will be on hacker replay GG. I don't know if that's working as effectively as you think it is. Is that Rob I hear in the back? You mean Cece, the cat? I don't know if that's Rob. Can we get pearly drops here? No. We're getting to lobbies with full-on cheaters. Haven't had any like blatant cheaters recently, which has been nice. Everyone else keeps claiming they are. Oh, hi Cece. Came back. She's upset right now because Annie's reading on the balcony. Do I like the new Pro League skins? Honestly, I haven't even seen them. I saw them posted on Twitter and that was about it. But I want to actually see them in game. Don't you usually get an unranked? I haven't even faced any in unranked. There was that one guy that Game Addict thought was cheating, but I don't think he was. Because like after we watched it back, I was like, looks like he's just good at the game. I remember this being part of the Siege lo-fi music. Maybe it's just some of the music I've never used. I got a game canceled in unranked. Damn. From a cheater getting banned? I've never had that in unranked, I think. Other than like manual reports. I've only ever had it in ranked where we're just walking in and like, oh, someone just got banned. Thanks for the 3 months from Heavy Triton. So rank 3.0. They said rank 3.0 Dogby and more. Whatever that means. What are my thoughts on rank 3.0? I mean, I like it. I understand why a lot of other people don't like it. There are some issues, but I think it's fine. I think people are over complaining. Is Doc really getting a rework, or are the leaks just clickbait? I never look at leaks, so I wouldn't know. 5-year stream streak. Damn, crazy. 5 years. Who would have thought? You know, some people might say it's only felt like 5 days. I love rank 3.0, but sometimes I really don't understand why I get more or less, or losing more or less. The only things that factor in are ranks, so everyone's rank in the lobby. If you're all gold 2 and you're facing a team of gold 4s and you beat them, you're not going to get as much as if you were facing all gold 2s. Even that 2 division difference changes how much you earn by a decent amount. So if you're all gold 2 against all gold 4s, you might earn like 15, versus if it was all gold 2s, you'd probably earn 25. When does it start? I don't know, chat. When do you guys think it starts? If we had to take a wild guess. There's a plan. I've never had a match canceled for a cheater. I've only ever had them for when I report manually, and I've only once experienced it without having to report them, which was
love
insane.
dicks, bro.
Still don't even know how they knew they were cheating. I looked at their account, like, this doesn't even look like a cheater account. Thank you for the sub Arma. I don't know if he deserves it, but thank you. They could up the gain loss a bit more. 25 per win loss makes it way too grindy. I mean, I get the point though. Like, they're trying to incentivize a grind. Like, they're trying to incentivize people to actually play and work their way up instead of just being given their rank. Because the biggest complaint about rank 2.0 was that you just get given your rank and you don't actually feel like you're doing anything. So, like, if they started increasing it to, like, 30, 40, 50, it's like, well, then what was the point if we're just going to give everyone the rank they deserve, you know? So I'm trying to think of, like, right now, I'm at, what, 30 matches? In rank 2.0, I probably would have been in Platinum already, and I would have been close to getting Emerald/Diamond. Meanwhile, I'm like 30 matches in, and I haven't even gone out of Emerald. Which I think is better. Like, that's more of a grind. I don't like having a 60% win rate and only going up to Gold 4 from Gold 5 over 40 matches. %60 win rate on 40 matches is 24 wins, 16 losses. That is a difference of 8 matches, meaning that if on average you're gaining and losing 25 each direction, you're up 200 points, which means you shouldn't be in Gold 4, you should be in Gold 3. We can adjust for some level of difference, but you'd be at the end of Gold 4 and you start at the beginning of Gold 5, so that's still 2 whole ranks. There's no way with 8 matches more won than you've lost that you're only like 100 points up from where you started. It'd be close to 200. $20 is closer? I don't know. I feel like in the lower ranks, it's more like 25. Ranked went from a participation trophy to a second job. I mean, we're only a month in and people are complaining that it's taking too long, but like, how many people played ranked at the end of a season? No one, because they were like, well, I reached my rank in 2 days. Why would I care? You should never be losing more RP than gaining. It's not even worth at that point. I think it depends. Because what you're saying is you either want it to be equal or you gain more than you lose. If you gain more than you lose, then what's the point of ranked? Because you could always rank up by just going even. You don't even have to go positive. Which I don't think you should necessarily gain a lot more or lose a lot more than you gain. It should be somewhat even no matter what. But there has to be some punishments to losing, you know? I've been fine with them leaving it the way it is for the rest of the season to see how it works out, but if it stays as frustrating as it is, they need to tweak some stuff. I mean, they're going to tweak some stuff. I'm sure that's what they're going to talk about today. I've been playing ranked the whole season, but I play a couple ranked matches a day when I'm playing the game every day. Okay, like let's say let's say for the sake of argument, you have 2 hours, you play 4 matches a day. For every day of a season, assuming you actually hit every day, that's 90 days. 4 matches, that's 270, right? No, that's more. That's 360 matches played in 1 season. Let's just say, assuming that you're gaining and losing, we'll even say 20 per match, and you have a 60% win rate, which I'd say is probably for most people who are above gold is a 60% win rate. With 360 matches, that would be 210 matches won, and then 150 matches lost. With a 60 match differential at 20 points per match, you're looking at 1,200 points. So you would go up like 2 whole ranks. So if you're starting gold, you go up to emerald. I'd say that's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna get ready because apparently we're starting soon. Last time they did this, they delayed it by 15 minutes. We'll see.
And welcome
they
everyone
actually
to
started on time.
Community Checkpoint number 3. We are here ready to discuss more of your thoughts that you've been sharing on social media, through our surveys, all of that. If it's your first time tuning in, well, that's what we'll be doing. I am John Subinarius, and I've got 2 very familiar devs by my side you've probably seen before, but I'll let them introduce themselves again anyway. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Christopher Budgeon. I'm the game director for live content on Rainbow Six Siege. Handle things like matchmaking, progression systems, ranked, and many other playlists.
And I'm Joshua Mills, creative director on Siege. I handle the long-term vision of where we're taking the game and work with awesome people like Chris and John across the entire production to drive this game forward.
Cool, and we've also got a dev behind the scenes. This time it's Jackson from the Rainbow Six dev team. He's going to be playing some Siege for you guys, and we'll be hopping in and checking out what he's doing.
I was like, are they gonna have someone they're gonna call in?
But all that being said, let's talk about the subjects that we're going to be discussing today. We're going to go through Rank 3.0, a discussion on that, and updates that are coming or that have already arrived. Dokubi's balancing as well, the remaster balancing that is, Calypso Casino plans for the future, and what we're doing right now with the ban phase, and the 1v1 playlist, which you're going to want to stay tuned
So
for.
ranked, balancing,
at the end.
and
But
1v1.
before we get into everything here, guys, before we start, we've seen your comments on our social channels, on our last stream regarding the Rainbow Six marketplace. And while we won't have any major news to share today, we can say that we're working towards a change in direction, and we'll provide additional context early next week in a blog post, which will cover its current status and how it factors into broader economic updates.
Okay, so marketplace is
That
coming
being
back.
said,
or
let's
something.
jump into our
They're doing
topic of
something.
discussion today, starting with Rank 3.0. And look, we've got a lot going on in Rank 3.0 right now. The first few weeks of introduction have been very exciting. We've had, a few issues that have come up, but we've tried to address them as quickly as possible. And of course, one thing I guess that a lot of people were talking about was placement matches. And I guess just more clarity right now on how placement matches work for this season and how they'll work going forward.
Yeah, so ultimately placement matches this season kind of relied on your hidden MMR that existed in Rank 2.0, which hadn't been reset for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So it kind of served as a starting point. There was a small soft reset on top of this starting point, but it was a bit of a reveal on this is how the game has had you actually over the last 3.5 years. And then the placement matches would be then on top of that. And to be transparent, they were not as impactful as we would have liked, and I think as what players would have liked. So we're actually going to be making updates to placement matches going into next season, making them more impactful, because we do think that that's how you start your season. That's where you kind of, those starting matches kind of set the tone for how the rest of the season is going to go, and we want to lean into that.
And we also heard that no one can place in champion out of placements in season 2. What was the reasoning behind this decision?
Yeah, so that just goes to what the meaning of champion is. What we've had is a hard reset that happened at the top. So basically the champions and some diamonds got a hard reset into emerald. And just to be clear, when that hidden MMR existed in rank 2.0, the entry point for champion was 4,500. We had some champions close to 9,000. So there was as much of an MMR spread from, copper to champion
That's
as
actually
there
crazy.
was from
I
champion
didn't know about that.
all the way down to, those 9,000 players. All of those have now been squished together and are kind of competing. And what we really wanted to do is kind of reclaim that meaning of champion and what it means for our game.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the fact that back with 1.0, when you saw a champ, it was like you get out of their way kind of thing, and we really want to recapture that essence and have people fight it out and prove the
There was no
fact that they
champs
are
in ranked
truly
1.0, was there?
in 3.0. So
That's right.
Well, speaking of the champion division, look, we talked about Legend Division. That's coming through right soon. Once that's introduced, will you be able to place in champion then? My feeling from before I asked this question was that based on what you said, probably going to be still the same idea as you have right now, but I just wanted to check.
Yeah, so basically we just, as a very simple statement,
Oh,
we don't
right.
think
It
5
was
matches
Ember
is
Rise.
enough
For
to
some reason, I
call
keep thinking it was
yourself
Solar
champion.
Raid, but that was when Rank 2.0
We
came
really
out.
wanted to reclaim the meaning of what it means to be champion
right. You guys right.
within Siege, and we see now people, kind of fighting the fight to be able to earn that right to call themselves champion. Today, we're on track for about 2,000 champions per platform group. So console players and PC players, both are expected to be around 2,000 players champion, let alone champion 1, right? Which will be a much more prestigious rank to achieve. So we'll be looking at that number, but that's currently where we're tracking. Much different than rank 2.0, where it was well over 10,000 players that were able to be champion.
Yeah, and I think when we're talking about these placement matches, just like Chris said, 5 matches isn't enough to prove you're a champion at that point. But it's also important to understand that if I'm like a silver player or whatnot, and I win all 5 of my placements, that's not going to necessarily throw me right up into emerald, plat, and stuff like this, because that wouldn't make sense for you as an individual. Because that's what we're doing. We're looking at you as an individual where you are, and then as we mentioned, the placement matches will be more impactful, so they'll sway you more from that point where you're actually sitting.
And we're talking about individual skill, like you said, and I think this brought up a question within the community as to why KDA is not, or is KDA a factor in determining rank? If not, why not? And is it something you're considering?
So Siege is a team game. It's a game where you can kind of play off of each other. You can drone somebody in so they can get the frag. There you can call out intel. Maybe you're playing Echo and you just want to stop the plant at the end. Yep. It's not always about fragging out. It's about wins and losses, and that's ultimately where the system is kind of rewarding. Is, are you playing as a team? Are you playing off of each other? And are you be able to kind of close out those wins and losses?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this often. Like, Siege is more than just fragging. Like, if you're a gunner, it'll get you far, but not to the top. And that's the reality. And we see that slugging out right now through the emerald and kind of plat diamond area.
So no change
those
there.
Fundamentals, that strategy, that deep understanding of the game, it really becomes important when you're starting to face up against teams that do understand it. And that's what next level Siege is all about. So we want to make sure that play styles and that role within the like a squad is rewarded accordingly and not overlooked. So
no, absolutely. And I mean, there's so many layers to Siege, right? You might be able to get away just being a gunner at the lower ranks, but eventually you're going to hit that point where you have to be more aware of everything and go through those layers, those different elements that are required to be successful. So I think it's a really good point. Look, another thing that happened in terms of the reset that happened, the rank reset, it seems a lot of players were bunched into higher ranks. Is this something you expect every season?
Yeah, so that hard reset that happened this season was a new starting point for ranks. And we didn't want to do a full reset for the entire community. Matchmaking would be completely out the window. So we leaned into basically what we knew about players at that point. But with the going forward in future seasons, there will be some type of reset that happens at the top. It might not occur exactly the same that it happened in this season. With this season, it was really about, let's clear everybody and reclaim that champion rank. We want it to be prestigious. We want it to be something that we can bank on. And just talking a little bit about our competitive ecosystem, yes, it's true, we have Legend Division coming next season, but we actually have plans to continue investing on our competitive ecosystem even after the fact. So we'll have more to announce later this year as well on what our next steps will be for the competitive group.
All right. Yeah. Make sure you guys stay tuned for all the announcements. Josh, did you want to add something? Sorry.
I'm not going to spoil nothing.
Okay.
No, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Stay tuned. We got a lot coming up, guys, in the next few months. But also on this topic, there's a lot of stuff that's happened for Rank 3.0. We've got a lot of data already that's come through, even though it's still fresh, right? Are you considering making adjustments to it based on the early feedback, or are you waiting for more data?
So some of the feedback's actually, issues with the system that we wanted to address right from the get-go. So there were times where we saw content creators saying, hey, I only got, +2 rank points for this victory. What happened?
Yep.
Great point. There was a rare bug where you were getting less than 10 points, and that the system, you're supposed to have a minimum of 10 points. So that's been addressed already. Now every victory is 10 points. Not every loss can be 10 points because of the demotion shield, of course.
Yep.
So for those that don't know what the demotion shield is that if you have less than the number of points
you were supposed
that
to minimum 10, maximum
lose
50
to be demoted to the next division underneath you, it will stop that and set you at 0. So it'll basically block you from being demoted. What that ends up doing is does kind of pad some players' ranks, depending on how often that they hit that demotion shield. That's something that we're comfortable with because it doesn't feel good to just constantly flip-flop between those different ranks. We have heard also, like, there was times where an Emerald and a Plat were in the same squad, and they were going up, say, a squad of all Emeralds, and the Plat was losing more in a loss than the Emerald was, which is inverted from the system how we want it to be. So that's already been addressed as well. So now the Plat will lose less.
That was my
and
question.
the Emerald will lose more, which is what the intention was. We've also made a lot of
I
changes.
was
with our squad
referencing Peter in
calculation.
that.
I know there's content creators with whiteboards that might want to be able to kind of fill this out.
What?
But basically the way that the squad calculation works is we'll take the squad MMR average. So the average amongst everybody, say if there's 5 players, what the total is divided by 5. And then we'll take the highest, so the max player, so if it's a diamond or emerald, whoever's in that squad. And then basically from that squad average and that highest rank, it's the 75th percentile within that window. So anyway, that's a little insight on how the squad
What?
calculation
I did not understand that.
Awesome. Oh, go ahead, John.
Just to dive back to the motion shield.
gonna have to
kind of
go
thing,
back and
one of
listen
the
to that
key
again.
aspects here is, again, like if you clawed your way into that division and you're holding that ground, and yeah, maybe you didn't perform at that point, and you're going to be pushed back. We want to give you that extra chance at bat, and it's funny because like this methodology is kind of applied through the game, even within balancing. Generally speaking, we always give you 2 of things, so you can kind of screw up with one of them, and then get another shot at it. And that's the point: is we want to really encourage people to try and get that mastery mindset. Kind of driving them forward, because Siege is tough, and we know that, and people are really experiencing it this season, especially with like the adjustments and the realignment of a lot of things. But that's the point. Is like you're going to hit challenge and you're going to be able to have the opportunity to overcome it. And we want to.
That's what I said. People keep complaining. They're like, I want to
take
get
that
up
fight.
to my original
In
rank.
terms of that demotion shield, how many matches is it active for?
You should have to
Just
grind
one,
for
or
it.
is
Just one. Yeah, it'll stop you from dropping. That next loss will take you down.
Fair enough. All right. That pretty much wraps up our discussion on rank 3.0. But I didn't mention it
that's
earlier,
okay.
guys. We're going to have a live Q&A session. You can probably see it on your screen at the bottom there at the end. So if you have questions, you can send them in whenever we're watching. We're keeping track of everything.
Highest
we'll
MR member
answer
to
them at
average of the
end
entire
of the
squad
stream.
divided by number of
Can I just add
members.
one more thing.
Yeah.
So we have a seasonal
I'll have to
survey
go
that
back
just went
now.
out with around rank 3.0. There was a lot of questions on rank 3.0. We don't have all those responses yet. I did have an early look at what some of the feedback was, and a lot of it comes down to the number of matches that it takes to rank up. The system is actually relatively simple in the sense that if you beat somebody that's a higher team than yourself, you'll get more points, and if you lose to somebody with, that's less than you, you'll lose more points.
Makes sense.
And how it ultimately works is that it's just win rate, excuse me. So if you're getting a 50 win rate, so you're winning one, losing one, winning one, losing one, yes, you will kind of stagnate and you're going to be at the rank that you
fine.
belong. Currently, the way that it's balanced is that you need about 4 more victories than losses. So if you have, say, 4 victories, then you lose 1. You now have 3 more victories, so you need to get that 4th one in order to get 1 division up. So that's a number that we've been, hearing some feedback on.
I feel like
but
that's
currently
fine,
how it
personally.
works with rank 3.0. It's really all about win rate. So if you're winning those more matches, that's how you get that next division. We're going to be looking at that number. Nothing to announce today, but that's ultimately one of the feedback points that we've been getting.
Fair enough.
Like people,
All
yeah,
right,
people complain they
so
want
now
to
that wraps
rank up
our discussion
faster,
on
but then they
3.0
complain that
with
rank
that.
2.0
No,
is
no,
too
it's
easy.
fine. It's fine. It's good to add that context. Let's check in on gameplay with Jackson and see how he's doing. He's one of the better STL players, if I recall correctly, right, Josh?
Yeah, Jackson's pretty cracked actually.
NC Jack.
Yeah, NC Jack. People like in the community know who he is. He's wild. Like he'll show up in play sessions and stuff like that. And we're like, hey, pistols only, buddy. Like relax.
Gotta
But,
nerf you a little bit. You get too strong.
No, but I mean, he's got
What's
mag game
next?
sense. He's
Doke.
been playing the game for ages and stuff, and like a ridiculous passion for it. So it's great to have him today to be able to play.
10 seconds.
And where are we at right now here?
Yeah, so he's playing Snake. He's providing,
Insertion in 5
trying to
seconds.
reveal everybody so that way he can to call out for Dokkaebi, who's on the
Located a
board.
bomb. Make your way to its
Yeah,
location
that's a good
and
point. Yeah, because don't get me
Yeah.
now.
All right,
there's,
while they were
the
talking about
operators
this,
that are there,
I
right? You
don't
gotta
know.
get
I
all the
personally don't
spots in
find
order
an
to utilize
issue
the
with
skill.
them
And I think we already have
making
the,
you have to play like
the
a
patches
decent
live
amount to
now for
rank up. I
Dokkaebi,
feel like
right?
that's a
Yeah,
good
1.1,
thing because at the end of the day,
went live on
if we
Tuesday,
rank up
so,
after
like, the
one win or
adjustments are
one
already
loss,
sitting in here.
People are just
but
gonna
yeah,
get bored.
We're actually
dive into
You
that.
know?
jumping into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, let's jump into it. We're going to talk about Dokkan balancing now. I mean, look, there's been a lot of talk about the Dokkan Remaster being a little overpowered by a lot of people. I think once the ban was introduced, she was banned a lot in ranked, let's say.
Yeah, you can play Ace now.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
That's one of my videos coming
Anyway,
out.
is this something you expected in terms of that?
In the end, yeah. Like that's the reality of it. Like as we've talked about Dokkan for some time, and when I say some time, it's been years of looking into reworking her, whether it's through balancing levers that we had. We did do adjustments over the course of
They
the last few
expected
years,
it to be overpowered.
trying to move the meter on her, and it wasn't working. So we went into the idea of going, okay, remaster. She's a remaster territory operator. We got to figure this out. And there were multiple iterations that will never see the light of day right now. But the reality is it took us a long time to try to find out where we want to move with her, because every time we started to move with her character, we were just completely taking the teeth out of her. And then she was no longer viable in a lot of different ways. That global ability is incredibly powerful, but it is kind of core to her identity and her reach within a match. So it was really, really difficult to be able to maintain who she is and this hacker prowess, which again, a hacker is, I have remote access to what I have. I can turn your things, like your tools against you and everything. But how do we balance out the frustration points? And it was difficult. So what happened was, as we moved to the new system, what we have in the remaster, and we were getting there closer and getting all the different variables in, we were doing play sessions, and they were like going in, and we're like, man, she's still not strong. Like she doesn't have that presence that she needs to have. And then the day we overcorrected. And that's really what it comes into, is we just went a little too hard. But the good thing is we have the levers in place now, and the cadence of content to support updating her correctly now.
Yeah, I mean, well, speaking of which, I kind of already spoiled my own question when I was talking earlier, but are you already looking at adjustments for her to balance the playing field, or is it still too early? Yeah.
Definitely not too early. Like I think this is one of the huge joys about having the new cadence of content is that we actually get to update the game more often than we did in the past, and that's been something we've been pushing for a long time, because it gives us more control over the game and ability to react. So in 2.1, as you know, which is live right now, and Jackson's playing this right now, there's a global cooldown on the Jago payload. So when it goes out, it goes on a 7-second cooldown. In mid-season, so 2.2, we're actually going to modify that a little bit. So we're taking that global cooldown and making it an individual cooldown per defender.
Oh.
So if she targets one defender, they go on cooldown, and then she could target another defender, and then they'll go on cooldown. One of the aspects of this is because we want her to still have that reactive feedback when she has access to the resources to be able to do this sort of thing. But that's not enough, and we know that's not enough. So we're moving into actually Season 3. The launch of Season 3 will be going into introducing more counters to her. So ultimately, the Jago payload right now doesn't classify itself as a signal, which is what the phone call used to. We're changing that kind of format to make the Jago payload a signal. So it'll be an upload to the user's phone. That means you can jam it. That means Tubarao can cut the signal. So these counters come back on board. And this is one of the things we want to do, is reintroduce the counters, because the two primary
so me and
things,
Tubby
I know
coming
I'm
back.
rambling.
Season 3.
Two primary things with every operator in Siege is that no operator should be spammy, because that's not tactical. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't go with the pace of the game. And second, no operator should be uncounterable. They have to have counters. Some of those can be much, much harder, like a very hard counter, like our operator coming in Season 3 for the shield users, or
Maverick doesn't have any
in some
counters.
cases soft counters, which are always more enjoyable, because it gets that action-reaction gameplay that we always strive for.
Now, I'm sure a lot of people out there are thinking, okay, we got all these changes. They sound great. Why can't we just get them all at once? Why don't we just go right ahead and do it?
So we don't do the same scenario in reverse, which is overcorrect in one way to overcorrect in the other way. Like, we want to avoid this. This is exactly why
Chat's
with
in the
Sophia we're
C4
doing
counters,
the incremental
alright.
kind of steps. This is how we're going to approach stuff like this. As we know, and we're looking at the community's sentiment and stuff like this, to bring an operator out, we'd rather them be a little bit stronger and then bring them back in line
Yes, I
accordingly.
agree.
Like, obviously Doka is very strong. We're bringing her back faster, but the whole point being incremental on that, so that we don't go too far in the opposite direction. But again, the best thing about the remasters in general is there are way more levers available to us to be able to play around. And beyond that, we're even
Always
looking
better to have an
at,
overpowered operator than
additional
underpowered.
potential counters that we've never seen before. and looking at other interactions with operators that could expand how they work too.
I mean, on that topic, right? Are there any counters that you feel might be discovered over time, or that you've already seen discovered after the release?
I mean, the
Just
big
love
one
dicks,
is
bro.
Thunderbird. Like this was really cool to see because a lot of people realized that yeah, you know what, I don't need to go on my observation tools or whatnot, so I'll tank the damage and then just heal up the full with a Kona station from T-Bird. That was wicked because healing is really hard to do in Siege because you're usually just dead. Like you don't get the
It's
chance
so
to heal.
fast,
True,
yeah.
true, true.
But that
But Donk
when
and
we talk
Thunderbird are
about
usually
this idea,
useless,
of,
and
like
Finka.
she sends the payload to you, you burn the phone, and then you're just going to heal up. It goes, well, now what? So instead of us from a development team like diminishing her and defanging the Doka, like the players get to do that interactively within the round, and that's how it should be. So they start putting the pressure back on her. Sure, she can still get access to the network, but it's temporary now. So these kind of aspects are the way we want to go and give players more options to play around. But again, healing was a really, really great one because it doesn't happen often. It doesn't have the same impact as often just because, yeah, you're usually, if you catch a bullet, like, that could be
You're probably gone. Yeah. Cool. Moving on, I guess, now to our next topic, which is going to be Calypso Casino. Very briefly want to touch
Oh,
on
that's
this.
it? Okay.
You know, we saw that you made changes to how the ban phase handles Calypso Casino a few days ago. It differed from the initial planned rollout of the showcase map pool that we talked about in our last checkpoint, right? What was the reason behind this?
Yeah, so we actually had planned to keep Calypso Casino in the ban phase until the mid-season update.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, just that wasn't really matching players' expectations. They were looking to play it less. They wanted more variety in their maps.
I said that, and
at
people
the
were
end
like,
of the
no,
day,
they
it was
never
worth a
claimed
shot.
that.
Right?
I knew
Because
they
we
claimed
had
that.
that new content. I thought it was great for the Rank 3.0 rollout because everybody was on the same playing field.
Right.
Everybody had to learn the map at the same time. It was a great way to kind of separate the skill, especially with the hard reset that happened on the top. So it was a nice alignment there to kind of see how that worked out. But in the end, it was just overplayed. The map was getting played too often.
Well, we've been through this a few times where before when new maps weren't like they were bannable when they first came out, they got banned all the time. No one played them, and then that made the appreciation of that map drop significantly because no one learned it. Because competency on a map gains confidence, and then you're enjoying it more because you can handle it. So then we made it so that new maps were like unbannable, so that was in the rotation. But then we still had folks going like, I'm never seeing it in my ban phase and stuff like this. It was like, okay, well, we want that content to surface, and then yes, it more than surfaced during this. And the reality was, it was like, okay, we'll find other ways to incentivize playing the new content and putting it up there while leaving the flexibility for players to just enjoy the game. And you're, as you mentioned, rank 3.0, you're going into ranked, you're going to do your grind. You need some of that, those comfort sites to fall back on, a map you're comfortable with. And we want to make sure that's offered to the players, and that variety is there.
Yeah, so I think we've had both extremes in terms of new maps, like not being played at all, being played all the time. So we're trying to find that balance right now, right?
And providing incentives to play the new map. I've had multiple discussions with different people about this. I think it's a great idea. Like at the end of the day, it's like if we incentivize you, it feels a lot better than being forced to play it.
100%.
Agreed. Yeah.
Imagine if they made it where if you win on
in terms
Calypso
of learning the
Casino,
map,
you
though,
gain double the
do you have any
RP.
recommendations for players looking to learn it, or things they can do to improve their knowledge of it in game?
So one thing we really made sure that we had for this season was Clearhouse. Clearhouse is a great map learning tool. You have a lot of customizable options. Go against the dummies, go against the Carries Legion. You can, see different bomb sites. The dummies are placed, and or where they're taking their defenses, for example. So being able to have that on day one was really important for us. We also have Landmark Drill. I know Landmark Drill doesn't get played as much, but it's really interesting because it'll show a key landmark within the map, and you now have to kind of rely on your memory on where was that again. Let me go see if I can find that, and there's some audio cues to kind of help you. Those are two tools that are really strong that exist within the game in terms of map learning. But yeah, really good.
That's definitely like in game, and then beyond that, obviously, like
I don't think anyone cares
like,
about
new
that
stuff
for
comes
us,
out,
though.
we have a ridiculously
good for the
active community
generic
that starts
community,
producing
though.
different levels of content, whether it's just a map breakdown or what operators you should bring in,
Map
site
breakdowns
setups.
would be sick.
Like this stuff is invaluable, especially if you want to get that edge early on. Like learning this stuff, studying it, and then jumping in makes it's night and day. Like if you know what you're up, if you have a plan going in, you're going to be far more successful.
Yeah, and even going just on live streams and watching a player play Calypso Casino live, for example,
Yeah,
new
me.
map live.
Chat,
right?
you can watch me play Calypso Casino every
There's been so
fucking
many
day.
good map breakdowns from
I
content
played it so
creators.
much. I still love it,
How to
though.
try to get that spawn kill off the initial repel. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. You got to encourage the spawn kills. Thanks. Onboarding just cried.
Cool. And are there? I mean, we talked about tools. Are there any other tools you're planning on adding for maps upon the release?
Yeah, one thing we really want to do is make sure that we can have the versus bots playlist on day one. That's something that we didn't have for Calypso Casino. There's a lot to go into the bots. We are looking for ways on having that initial data because they are machine learning.
I don't think I've
bots
actually used the bots once.
rely on player data. We're looking for different ways, even like our QA testers, for example, being able to kind of give them those initial data sets, so that way we can actually play Calypso Casino or any new map that comes out in the future from day one. So you're playing a match of Siege and a map you don't know in a safe environment where you can make mistakes, you can try things quickly, you can learn. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I can't wait for that. Honestly, it'll help me too. Because like sometimes and I'm sure people out there as well, they feel a lot of pressure, to jump into a match not knowing the map, and that's why they avoid it. So it might be better to have the bots there, and then you can be like, okay, I understand the angles, understand my entry points better.
Already
so
have bots and lobbies.
Especially on
I want
defense. Where do I
T-Hub.
reinforce? Where do I make a rotate? What's behind this wall? Like, there's a lot of open questions when you're on defense.
Like the first
Your
thing-
teammates might be bots
I'll
for
say
you,
this,
but
this
you're a
is like
bot for
inside
someone
baseball
else.
stuff. But the first thing I do when we're testing out new maps is like I'll sit down in the play session and I just secondary shotgun and start opening the walls to find out which ones the external walls are and start building from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then
I
we
did
have
do
the
that
most
on my map
ridiculously
tour.
Useless setups in those play sessions when we don't know the maps.
Yeah.
But then the LDs always rock us because obviously
they
know.
know.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, speaking of knowing everything, maybe Jackson does. We're gonna check in on him and see how he's doing in terms of his play. Where are
Okay,
we at
but
right now?
I don't know. So they said that people in general were complaining a lot
Oh, you
about the
didn't check
map and having to play it all the time.
Oh,
I liked it.
Oh man,
I-
We
it-
haven't
it
got a
was
chance to see his
annoying
highlights.
playing it
Before we were
so
doing
much, but,
rehearsals,
like,
Jackson
it made
was
us
awesome. He had some
really good
crazy
at the
highlights, so
game,
we're not getting them
or
now,
the
but
map,
that
and
was
like
tough. That
we
was
went
awesome. Yeah,
from
like, I can't say anything.
being like,
interesting
oh,
watching
like
him
it's
play
too
Story
much
because
to
we
every
talked
time we got
about,
Calypso
the
Casino, we're like, this is a
overcorrection
free
and
win.
reacting too quickly.
We can
Right.
win
Like,
against any
Terry's
team
a
because
good
they don't know the
example
map as
where,
well as we
He was
do.
on the TS, super strong, and we made changes to him, and we regretted it, and then we actually had to revert those.
Go back, yeah.
Right? So it's a really tough challenge about knowing when to actually, pull the trigger on those. But, yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the things we like that's important about the TS as well is like whenever we get an update like that, like so whether it be Denari or we see an issue, it's like our cadence of content is every 3 weeks, which means our TS is every 2 weeks. So there's a week missing there. So that means usually the rollout of a fix, if it's discovered on the TS, will have to come in the next update, like the point update. But if it's something that we've caught ahead of time and it gets validated, that's why you'll see bugs and stuff like that update on the TS because they were already in process, and that can happen as well. So between that and the fact that our matchmaking is a lot looser on the TS, just a rapid iteration for the get people into the matches, it means that the data we're getting from the experience isn't always accurate, and we have to be careful about that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Doka, we were aware that she was well cooked at that point, so it was like, let's go ahead and get things moving and kind of get these updates rolling out.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, at least they did
All
nerf her right
let's
away.
Jump back
Not
to
like Lion
our
and Finger back
topics
in the
here
day where
and
they
go
just
on to
let
the
them sit for
1v1 playlist,
year.
something that I think a lot of you guys out there tended to enjoy. I know I did. Were you guys pleased with the results with the 1v1 playlist?
Yeah, actually quite impressed by how well performed.
Yeah.
So basically, for some context, the amount of engagement we got from the 1v1 playlist is competitive with some of our biggest and most well-loved events like Wildcard. So that's kind of shows how much it was played. People were jumping in, they were playing 1v1s, and especially considering it's only 2 players in that match and competing with the overall engagement in the game, that means a lot of matches were being played.
Yep.
So yeah, pleasantly surprised. We had a feeling, considering 1v1s have been growing in popularity over the years, but it definitely shows that that's somewhere we need to continue to invest.
Absolutely. And I mean, did you get any insightful information from the seasonal survey that went out regarding the 1v1 playlist?
Yeah, so seasonal surveys are a great, well-structured way to make sure that we get the clear feedback, and they're from our players themselves, right? So they allow us to we have one for the content creators, one for pros, and one for the overall players, so that way we can segment that information appropriately. And what we really heard was ranked was #1 with a bullet. Everyone wants a ranked 1v1 playlist. So yeah, we're really looking at how do we bring that into the game. That was a clear winner in terms of feedback. There were other elements that we heard. The prep phase was a bit too long. They wanted it to be a bit more snappy. Bomb sites to be auto-revealed, so I don't have to drone the whole site to try to find where to go. They felt the matchmaking was kind of imbalanced. We used quick matchmaking, which is not as up to date as
Oh, that's why I was only facing
Ranked,
champ.
so we'll lean into the ranked matchmaking more. The map pool, Like house was, there was the old 1v1 me on house, but it was old house, not new house. So yeah, we're gonna remove house. We're gonna add a bunch more maps so that we'll have 5 maps if we bring it back. So yeah, lots of different feedback that we receive from the players.
Yeah, I mean, from a personal level, that's actually pretty much my list of feedback. Like, I think 3 of the 4 points there were like, yeah, I'd like to be able to know where the map, where the bomb is, and things like that. And like the prep phase is too long. So for me, like, I'm excited if it comes back, to see those changes come through. Now, on that question,
Yeah.
can we expect 1v1 to return in the future?
So yeah, we want to build this with the community. So we're going to bring it back this season. So in our mid-season balance patch, 0.2, 1v1 will be making a return with a number of changes.
Wait, what?
Also, we had the feedback I didn't mention of the downtime between rounds.
Yes.
The ban phase probably wasn't helping that. We're making a change where you'll have attrition. So the winning operator will be removed from the board.
Nice.
So if you win with an op, you now have to choose another op. If you lose, you can still use the same one. But that's going to make everything a lot snappier, shorter prep phase, bomb sites revealed. So yeah, we have a lot of feedback, and what we now will ask the community is like, with this set of variables, does it feel much better? Are we going in the right direction?
I can't tell if they're saying that it's going to fully come out mid-season as like
and we
a
might get
full
feedback like,
playlist, or if
actually,
it's just
no,
another
ban phase was
arcade
better
one.
because
That is
hey,
really
I wanna go
quick.
downstairs, therefore I'll choose a certain op to ban. That was more, strategic. But we'll see. Like we'll throw those changes in, and we'll see how the community reacts to it.
Absolutely. And I mean, I guess, my next question is, which we already kind of hinted at when being the most popular topic, is rank going to be included in this re-release?
So ranked is a bit larger because, we're still working on rank 3.0 and we want to make sure that we get that formula right before we, apply that to another playlist. So right now it will not be coming directly for 1v1, but we understood that was the number one with a bullet. That's what players want to see from it. So we're going to be working towards a competitive version of 1v1s in the future. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's important, right, is in terms of flow, I guess, of the game mode, you want to make sure it's solid, want to make sure everything is good before you go into create that ranked mode, right?
That's it. Like, it's a new strategy for us to kind of be building a playlist with the community and kind of make those changes and see what the feedback is.
Well, exactly. It's just like incremental balancing. It's incremental design as we're going forward with everything that we're putting into the game, because we want more community involvement with everything that we're doing. Like, we can do fantastic testing with our pros. We can do fantastic testing with our content creators, but until it goes live and it's in the hands of everybody who plays this game every day, it's not real. And then once it's there,
in that round, one of the players complained saying the game was way too fucking buggy, and now they just muted the entire lobby.
Like, all right, we got some work to do, and we're gonna make those adjustments. And like, but that's the whole point. And like, being able to drive towards that, get that feedback, and then make those iterations and kind of grow it together.
That's right.
Perfect. All right. I think that pretty much wraps up our primary topics, but we know we have a lot of questions out there. So let's start jumping into that, into our live Q&A session. And if you haven't already submitted a question and you want to, just post it in the chat, either on YouTube or Twitch, and we'll try to answer it as best as we can, if we can get to it, because we do have a time limit, of course. So first up on the list is, will there be decay introduced to champion and legend ranks?
So we do have a skill decay, but it's more for missed seasons. Like, if I didn't play the game for a couple seasons, there is a skill decay that that comes into place. We're not currently looking at skill decay and the relationship between, say, ranked and legend division, just because, like, if you play ranked a whole bunch and you get your champion and then you jump into legend division and that's your new home and you're loving it, we probably won't decay your champion rank, and then you lose access to legend division, for example. So we're not currently looking at skill decay for active players, but yeah, if players are not active, then yes, the skill decay will come into place.
Okay. It's a big one, I think. Can we get any updates on voice chat and what's happening there?
Yeah, so voice chat is really unfortunate for this season. Obviously, with the release of Rank 3.0, and we talked about how strategic, playing with each other and the win rate and how important it can be. So we have identified a number of issues with voice chat. Sometimes these issues are just hard to replicate in the studio environment, and if we can't replicate them, it's harder for us to fix them, or we're kind of fixing blind. We have been able to replicate recently a number of different voice chat issues, and we're happy to say a fix is coming for the 4.2 patch for majority of the issues.
Exactly. Like, in some of these issues, like we've had a kind of a reoccurring issue with voice chat, and one of these is the one that we cracked, which is like the thing that brought a tremendous amount of joy to me when I've heard we finally got it, because it's one of those things that is super frustrating. We recognize that a lot of our players, especially in our ranked ecosystem, are playing solo. But they need their voice in order to be able to work with their team. So being able to nail down this stuff and get to it, like I'm super happy the team was able to crack it, because some of the stuff was like the most bizarre setups that would do it. But that's the nature of games, and like there's so much intricate parts that work together. There's all these different services and stuff like this, and this stuff can happen. But being able to like weed it out. The biggest thing I'd say from this is, just like voice chat or just like any other topic that comes up from the community, if you're like you're using your voices to be heard, and they are being heard, and we're acting on that, and we immediately put people onto it, and we escalate it accordingly. And I think that's the big thing, because like especially with voice chat like coming in, where it's like what is going on, and there's a
like I haven't had that many voice chat issues, but I did notice yesterday that no one was ever talking in my lobbies.
Future, right?
I was like, I can't tell if that's just because no one is talking or it's broken.
Yeah, especially because like some of the cases in which we find out stuff, it's like maybe a feature being implemented a while back has had a cascading effect, or has been sitting there as a root problem that was undetectable, and then we figured it out, and we're like, okay, now we got to clean that up. Yeah. But I mean, again, nature of the beast.
It's just in software, everything's connected in one way or another, and sometimes you change something over here and it has an impact over there, and that can be very difficult to make those connections. Actually, we can mention something for the until the 0.2 patch to kind of help alleviate some of the frustration. If you end up playing in the shooting range, like say you're matchmaking and you jump into the shooting range, or if you're testing out match replay or any type of offline mode, so not a non-PvP mode, best to just reboot the game and then jump into your PvP match, and that will actually clear out a lot of the issues with the voice chat.
So don't do match replay. Don't do shooting range.
And then the 0.2 patch, that will be in the thing of the
because that disables your voice chat sometimes.
Patch, guys, voice chat will be good to go. So just wait for that. But in the meantime, as you heard, a few options in order to avoid the issues that are occurring. Next up is, we haven't really heard much about testing grounds recently. Do you have any updates on it?
Well, testing grounds is still coming.
Okay, so that's at least one thing we know now.
Half reinforcements later this year. I think, just as I mentioned earlier, when we're talking about like we do workshops and conversations with our pros and play sessions with our pros, we've been doing the same thing with our content creators at the majors. We've been doing workshops, or even people come into the studio. Testing grounds is our opportunity to do that with everybody in the community. And this is something that, like, we've been talking about this a lot the last few weeks too, about utilizing this a lot more going into the future to test more features and get more feedback coming in from the community, like our live community on these topics. So yes, it's still very much a feature for us to do. The key thing is we have to slot it into the seasonal kind of calendar, because it can't run at the same time as an event and things like this. Like we'll be doing this. So you can expect more of these in the future, and some of the scope of them may be smaller. Like if I say Speed and Armor had its like a makeshift work in progress UI, it had like system changes to multiple operators. Maybe it's rule sets and stuff like that we want to mess around with, or change like different parameters. We may put that up on the testing server going into the future.
Yeah, we had like a previous thought process where it's like this needs to be roughly ready in terms of like the design and mindset before we put it live, so that we get the gut check and some feedback on it. I think we're challenging that a little bit. We want to be able to work more with the community and kind of say, hey, what do you think about this? What, half wall reinforcements is a good first start, right? It's a big, impactful feature for us to play with. Yeah.
Cool. No, it'd be great to see testing grounds used more frequently. I think the community would appreciate it as well, without a question. Yeah. Cool. Next up, we have a lot coming in, guys. So we'll get to them. Just be patient.
Let's see what the chat looks like.
It's a question from the chat. It feels like I'm playing against 5 stacks in ranked
Marketplace.
Or I'm frequently up against squads of 3 or more. Are you working on this, or aware of the issue? I think we actually already addressed this, correct?
We didn't talk about that directly. Basically, there is a kind of squad matchmaking, and the amount of impact that will have in terms of the matchmaking is basically a lever that we're playing with. Right now, it's not as high as it was in the past, like when we first released this. And so, yeah, we'll be looking at making that a bit higher. So what basically happens is what we're seeing is that because players are getting, especially at the higher MMR, higher rank, because there's no more hidden MMR. Everything you see is what you get in terms of matchmaking. So basically those higher ranked players, they're kind of dispersing in terms of those ranks. There's not very many champions. Matchmaking times are starting to get a bit long, so we've kind of relaxed it a little bit. But we'll be looking at what's the right formula for that. Ultimately, we're also challenging,
when they did it,
like, what's
queue
the
times
right
got
squad
really
compositions?
long.
Like if we have a 5 stack and we don't have another 5 stack, we thought maybe 4-1 was better, but then that's not great for the solo player. So maybe 3-2 is better than 4-1 because at least the duo can play off of each other versus the 5-stack. So we're looking at different combinations in terms of, okay, if I don't have a 5-stack, what's the next best that we can deliver? And there's a lot of open questions like that we're challenging. But yeah, that's something
they're
that we
playing the
know
outro
is
music.
not as present as I think players are expecting. So we'll be looking at that.
All right. Next up is, will we get a proper cancellation of stats, meaning deaths and kills, not just points being returned for a
good.
match that is canceled due to bans that happen for cheaters?
Yeah. So yeah, we actually are absolutely working on that. So that's been a long-standing thing. I get a match cancel, but it affects my win rate, it affects my KD, it affects my all these different stats that I have in the game. It's a really complicated topic, like, to be honest, but it's something that we want to do, and we're trying our best to actually have it by the end of the year. But it's something that we're working towards.
Yeah, like as I mentioned, like all these interconnected systems and stuff like this, basically, whenever that match is canceled, it deletes it from essentially having happened. And in some of the systems, like, they don't get that notification that's going through. I'm simplifying it by a ridiculous amount. So, but the point being that we have to get all these services to be on board to register something happened, but it didn't happen. It's like it's complicated, but it is something we're actively trying to pursue. We've heard this one for a little bit, so we have people on it now.
Priest has been complaining about
Fair
that for years.
Next up is, do you plan on tuning ELO gained lost in the future? Would love to see more ELO for wins and for it to be consistent 25 ELO gained when close in ranks. I think we talked about making adjustments. We already have, but
Yeah, we adjusted the system, the actual balancing of the system. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about win rate. So that 50-50 win rate, you need 4 more wins in order to rank up in terms of the number of losses you have. But that's really something we're questioning. We're questioning it globally. Is that the right number? Right now, that's the number we went with, and so we're letting the kind of season run with that in mind.
Yes.
But we're also looking at per ranks, right? Like, is that the right number for copper as it is for platinum, right? Is that maybe can be a difference?
Yeah,
between
the
those
issue is, though, if
different
you
ranks.
give coppers
There's
way
lots of
more
things on the
elo,
table.
then they get to
We don't have
bronze and they are still
next
shit.
step to announce right now because everything,
You
to be
know?
honest, everything is fresh. Like, all the data, the seasonal surveys just starting to come in. So we're really trying to make sure that we are taking informed decisions as we move forward with ranked, because to be honest, we believe in ranked. Like, we really took a stance that it's not a progression system, it's a ranking system. We added the the rewards track on the side, the competitive rewards track. That's something that we want to continue to invest in. May have that hold more weight, maybe have some more meaning behind those rewards, maybe have more of a ramp up, so it's not just 10, 10, 10. But making that more impactful, so it takes a little bit more of the conversation. That's something that we would like to do, but it's not a progression system, the ranks today. It's not, hey, I start in gold and I get my way to champ and I do that every season. It's, yes, you are positioned and where we think you believe.
The
like,
Echo's
based
sitting
on
in the
that,
corner.
and prove us wrong.
Yep.
Like, just get more wins than losses and prove us wrong. And that's really how the core system works.
fair enough. Next up is, well, actually, I wanted to ask this myself, but I forgot about it. But will the 1v1 playlist ever be permanent?
Oh, so right now we're kind of taking, we're being shy with permanent modes, to be honest. Like, we learned a lot from Dual Front.
Yep.
We learned a lot from the arcade playlist that we had live that didn't have a lot of play. So announcing something as our new permanent playlist is kind of something we're being very cautious with. That said, could something come in more often? Like we saw the 1v1s last season, this season. How long does it stay? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 6 weeks? There's lots of different ways that we're kind of playing with what's the right combination of being able to offer those modes to players. But to say a new permanent mode, especially where we've been over the last couple of years, I think it's hard for us to do that right now.
That's
I
fair.
think we
Dual
recognize
Front
the fact that, like, our players love ranked,
was
like,
shit.
period, like, just that experience of ranked, and we want to make sure that we're not trying to split their attention between different things that could be of an equal want for them, and that's really what it comes down to, is like, given the option of multiple things running, I'm going to go to the thing that I want the most, which is the ranked experience. This is one of the things we're talking about as well, is looking at how do we make sure that as a player you don't feel stretched too thin, because we don't want to do that either. Like, a game, as much as Siege is tough, and yes, the grind and rank is real and it's going to do challenging you and push for mastery, it's not supposed to be your second job or something like that. It's still supposed to be entertaining for you to have a good time with your friends and enjoy the game and enjoy the mechanics and enjoy the richness that is Siege. So,
All right. I'm sorry, I'm just looking through the questions here to try and see what we can ask. Are there any anti-cheat updates coming? I
Oh,
think
he
this
muted
is
the entire
a
lobby again.
discussion.
Yeah, so cheating is a never active topic. It just is. It's always we're gonna have some wins. We're gonna have some some.
I don't know why people think that there won't
opportunities
be
for us to
anti-cheat
improve.
updates. Like,
But
obviously,
one
they're
thing
gonna
I
try to
can
make
say
it
is that
better.
we actually had some big wins against DMAs recently, which is a really tough nut to crack. DMAs, like they are really difficult in order to fight against, and we had some big wins against some of those providers recently.
CC's playing foosball.
Also, we have updates coming for recoil scripting soon, like in the short to medium term. Like in season 3, we hope to bring that to PC, and then to follow in console in season 4. So now we'd be able to combat recoil scripting.
So recoil
Also, our
scripting is not
mousetrap
even going to be fixed on
continues to be
console for another
updated. It's
6
actually in the best
months.
state that it's been for a long time. But we know.
Surprised they're
that
doing it for
there's
PC
more
first. There's not that
conversation
much
around
recoil
cheating,
scripting
and
on
there's more
PC.
opportunities for
Why
us to continue to fight
why not push it
the
for
cheating.
console
Yeah,
ASAP?
well, and
You know.
even next season we have a key feature that's launching with the Legend division.
That's
So
right.
We have Secure Boot
Yes.
coming in as the first implementation within Siege. So this is a prime example of continuing to invest in anti-cheat and not backing down from that fight, like ever. Like we're going to continue to put money on this, invest in it, get the greatest people that we can to help drive this forward. And yeah, the DMA stuff, like I mean,
Yeah.
huge shout out to the team for that, for being able to crack that. Like that is something that I can tell from talking to different peers in the industry and stuff like that. This is something that a lot of people are concerned with about what it can do, and the amount of effort people will go to just not to play like normally. But anyway, well, I'm really proud of the work that the team's been doing on this and the fact that we're continuing to invest in it every season.
Absolutely. And guys, we are going to have another checkpoint coming up beginning of August, I would say, to dive more into those subjects, player protection, anti-cheat, things like that. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Let's
So
get
they're
back to the
basically doing
questions,
this
though.
almost monthly.
We got one here saying, a balancing question. Will you buff Zero's Argus launcher? I think his gadget could use a few more tweaks so his pick rate increases, quieter deployment, faster switch between sides.
I almost feel like I could guess whose username that is. but Zero's a good one. Obviously, we've done a couple different things to try to buff him in the past. Like he is a jack of all trades kind of operator, with the fact that he has a lot of utility he can bring to the board and a ridiculous amount of cameras as well. But even with that underutilization is there. We've looked into a couple different things. I've seen a wild prototype from the Barcelona team about his Argus launcher at one point, and we're like, okay, that's a little crazy, but
I know which one.
you know which one I'm talking about. But
Tell us.
we're definitely looking in different ways to enhance him 100%, because like
They won't
every
pause.
operator, when we see that they're not quite getting the playtime they should, especially with the amount of utility that man has
Hard
on it.
breach, gone 6 cameras. The gun's pretty good.
The gun's pretty good.
buffed.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
and yeah, it's
just
just the
got
recoil
buffed.
buff there. Like, I mean, so I mean, the only thing he needs is like the split jump. Like that's really it. But the reality is, it is something we constantly look at how to advance everybody. So
The issue
we're
though
still
is with
tuning
his
it
gadget
and seeing
being
what we
a
can find there.
camera, and your
but,
teammate
yeah,
needs to
nothing
communicate,
to
and they
go
also
into right now.
don't have voice chat
Fair enough.
working.
I appreciate the stealth aspect, because I know that's one of the comments is that these things should be quieter.
Yeah, they are pretty loud.
Yeah.
Especially when it's quiet.
Moving on to a next question here, actually another balancing related question. Have you considered the live data that Doc receives when a defender hangs up to be a little too strong?
Yes,
Definitely.
I mean this is a conversation point, 100%. Like this is one of those points where before, when we were doing the tuning, we actually didn't have it, and this is part of a series of changes that went in altogether, which probably like tipped the scales. So to me, this is definitely one that we can discuss and talk about to see. Those 3 updates I mentioned, like obviously 2.1, 2.2, and then 3, that's not going to be the end. Like we'll continue to monitor and adjust and make the tweaks. Now those tweaks don't have to be maybe as major after the fact. Now that we'll have counters on the board, we'll have more clear cooldowns, so less spam, more counters. We'll be able to like adjust things a little bit more precise after the fact, and this sort of thing, which is huge, it's an intel giver. Fenrir has this kind of aspect about him too, like that gadget going on and off, and he can see it across the map, so he can give great callouts, and his gadget getting destroyed across the map, he gets to give that intel. And as we know, intel is very, very strong in a lot of aspects in the game right now.
Hopefully the Adobe
so
one's a bit too
this is
much.
something, yeah, that would be on the table.
All right. I'm trying to go through it as quickly as we can, guys, to get your questions. But what would it take to add a solo queue playlist available to everyone?
A solo queue for 5v5.
They didn't specify, but I'm assuming yeah.
So I would assume, yeah. So that's really looking into, that pain point between, playing as a solo player versus those that are coordinated. And we have a lot of opportunity for us to continue working on the existing 5v5. But as I did mention, we are interested in continuing our competitive ecosystem updates over time. So we'll see where that leads us in the future.
Yeah, I think it's important to mention that like the pain points that our solo players have are something we're hearing very, very clearly right now. I mean, there are a lot of people who play solo and play it for all sorts of different reasons and stuff like this. I mean, the true goal would be that we would love for you to find your squad, because like Siege plays very differently when you're in
Do they
squad,
not
and
realize
that would be
how
like,
lonely
that
Siege
to me is
players
what
are?
peak Siege is, if I'm speaking personally.
Most of the people in this
but
chat don't even
at
have
the same
friends.
time, that's not the case for everybody. Like whether it be schedules or anything like this. Like I mean, I've got friends I play games with, and we can't get everyone coordinated all the time. So it is what it is. But making that experience as best as possible for everybody and be able to play the game the way they want to and feel it's fair, it's competitive, it's that point where I can earn that mastery is something where we're really, really driven towards. So yeah, like Chris said, we have investigations on.
Leave me alone, but be on my team.
I have another question that I'm not sure we can answer right now, so I don't know.
Great, John.
Okay, so I'll go ahead. So, what is the current state on mouse and keyboard on consoles?
Oh.
We had a few people asking. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're working towards that to have that for the mid-season update.
Okay.
That's something that we've committed
So that
to.
means that
and
you
we're gonna be
can
bringing
plug
that
in
out.
your mouse and keyboard and go into
So
mouse and
again,
keyboard
you
matchmaking.
plug in a mouse and keyboard, it'll automatically switch
Mhm.
you into the PC pool, and there's no spoofer. There's no way of some of these providers have ways for you to kind of say how much is it like a controller and all that
Right,
kind of stuff. Mousetrap doesn't have to worry about that as much, meaning that it's technically easier for us to catch those that are trying to bypass if there was ever an exploit. But yeah, mouse and keyboard on consoles is slotted for the mid-season update this season.
So that'll be mid-July.
No, I'm really excited for the feature to go live.
Yeah.
I mean, we were testing it not that long ago, and it felt really awesome. Like, and it's surreal, like to be sitting there and just plug a mouse and keyboard in and just go. But then you're swapped into the PC pool, and you get to experience that as well. Which
It's gonna be harder.
It's all about giving players more ways to play and to play with their friends in the ecosystem they want to. Like, up to this point, well, like you're mostly on gamepad, right? So like we've definitely been playing in PC lobbies with gamepads and stuff like this in some cases, but to be able to be native with the input device is going to be great.
Just having that player choice is great.
Cool. I'm just checking out. I
The
got.
amount of anxiety I had with him saying like, I don't know if I can answer this. I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
sorry.
thanks, man.
At that point, you just gotta ask, and we'll see what
Because it
happens.
was like a huge relief, right?
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Does it mean they got PC
I'm
recall?
seeing
Yes.
a lot of questions.
It'll literally be
on
PC,
marketplace
just on
right now,
console.
guys. And I mean, we already said this at the beginning, but we'll say it again. We've seen your comments. We know, like now, previously on social media, on marketplace. We don't have anything to share today in terms of major news, but there will be a blog post early next week, which will cover its current status and how it factors into broader economic updates that are being planned for Siege. So there's your answer there, guys. And next
Blog
week,
post
make sure
next
you keep an
week.
eye out for that. Next up is an interesting one. I don't know why they're asking or the context behind it, but is there any chance you will rework the way Hitbox works in Siege? It's
I'd be interested to understand.
yeah,
the context
I'd like
of
to know
what
the
we're talking
context
about.
too. Maybe you
Yeah.
guys can give
They
us
probably think
context on
that
that.
hitboxes
We'll
are
ask that
not
question
accurate, but they're
and,
really
and
accurate in
we'll try
Siege.
to give you more information because
Remember forever ago, like it was
Yeah.
a long time ago, when the game first shipped, there was like Jaeger had a why.
Well, it's like how Ash's hitbox is smaller. No, it's not. But like, I think I could say this from a fundamentals point of view. We're always looking at ways to prove the fundamentals of Siege, whether that just be from the gunplay, the gun feel, and then that responsiveness within the game itself. So like hit reg and everything like this. We are constantly looking at ways to improve that. And like even if it is the smallest adjustment that makes it just that much better, it's just one step closer. Like if we get a 1% gain, we'll take that 1% gain.
Flash.
So
Probably
we do
reset
have teams that are
keybinds.
actively looking for this stuff at all times and the health of the game in general. So
Yeah, I don't know. People always
that would be my
assume
best
that the game
answer
is like
to any
completely
core
broken and
system
just
to
doesn't
like
work,
bread
and the
butter
hit
of
reg
how
is
Siege
awful. But
works
I'm
and
like,
how the mechanics
it
work
works fine.
is that we're always looking at ways.
we're always
to enhance it.
refining.
Yeah.
People are just always looking for excuses.
In the last checkpoint, it was mentioned that there's more changes coming to Zofia this season. Can we get a sneak peek on what's coming for her?
I don't know if I should because I mean all I can say is when it came, it's next patch. It's mid season.
It's coming.
And I remember when it was presented to me and I saw it, I was like, "Are you sure?" Like that was the thing I said. And then I'm like, well, God, we're doing this incrementally. Let's see how she's doing. And she's doing much better now. Like obviously people are rolling.
What
her
are the
in, which
odds they
is-
give her
it's
back
great.
her
And,
extra 2
I'm super happy to be
concussions?
running
She
it
used to have
myself
2
now again.
impacts, 4
But
concussions.
yeah, she's gonna be packing a punch. Let's just say that.
What? Are they actually going to give that back? Because she
Well,
already
you'll
got
find
better
out soon,
recoil.
folks.
She's
Keep
now
an
a
eye on that
2-2
mid-season
instead of a
patch.
3 or 1-3.
Next up, we've got, would it be viable if the
I don't know.
1x got zoomed into 1.25x and the 2.5x, oh wow, we're getting into details here, ACOG got zoomed out to a 2x, bridging the gap between players who want more or less zoom while keeping a big gap between the 2 scopes.
It's a big gap, but you're getting close to that 1.5. Like that's the
Yeah,
thing. Like
yeah.
we're just like let's.
They're not gonna add withstand back, chat. Don't
I think
worry.
I've mentioned this before.
It'll
we are
probably be
looking
the
at magnified
concussions or
scopes just
impacts.
in general, and like how they perform for each individual and how we play the game. Because like again, if you're sitting on a couch like this far away, like we are from the TVs, and you can't see the TVs, but there's TVs in front of us.
Watching Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson's
Dying.
but that changes like how that magnification feels when you're playing and everything like this. So we are looking at different things like this, and we're working with our balancing team on kind of assessing that. This discussion is something that, because it's a scope, it's highly systemic. It'll affect so many things at once.
Yeah.
This could very well be a testing grounds kind of topic, and that would be the way to look at it. Is that this sort of thing is so big that we would roll it out that way, at least first, as we're dabbling with it. But there are different priorities.
I'm
of
assuming
stuff
they're
that
going
are
to
running
end
at
in
in parallel
5
right now,
minutes,
so,
because that's the
so we'll
end,
probably have
or
to
like
go first.
that'll be an hour.
So we have context on the hitboxes. I don't know.
Sure.
They said hit rejection is very bad right now, is what they're saying.
Okay.
That's why they're saying.
I'll say this: there actually was an issue with hit rejection, like just a little while ago. Like I was talking to our technical director. It was recently, but it actually has been fixed.
Okay.
So, like that's the key thing, and there'll be more updates in the point.
Test again because it was fixed like relatively recently.
Yeah.
In the past 2 weeks. I think.
Yeah, but there was like you're not hallucinating. There was actually
real-
something that was wrong, and like we noticed it, and we're like, "What the?"
But see, that's the
what's going on
thing.
there? So,
Is what I'm
like,
saying
and
is
then we
like,
went in and found it. So
sure,
So,
the
yeah,
issues
go ahead and test it again. If you still see
might
issues, let us
exist,
know.
but like
Yes,
they said, they
please.
fixed it. And people are like,
Please,
no, it's still broken.
authorize
It's like
it.
it's not
Plus that
broken.
We like I know Josh and I are always listening to what the community's saying, and when we see these things bubble up,
chronically
sometimes we're constantly just kind of validating like, hey, is the game working as intended, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because we
And
want
most of the
feedback
time
on
it
the
is.
design, we want feedback on the overall direction, and
It's
sometimes
just,
things
even
like this
after
can
it's
kinda
fixed, we're like,
get
nope,
in the
still
way, so we
broken.
need to
It's
address
like,
them
nope.
quickly so we can find out,
not.
okay, is the direction actually working?
Yeah.
So it's funny because we do like rehearsals a little bit to make sure the tech and everything like that for these these checkpoints go well. So just before we were talking about it, and I was saying how like whenever we do a feature update or whatever, I go on the servers
Yeah.
and then I just talk to people and get their feedback. Like so when 1v1's first launched and I got put in the lobby with a guy who was absolutely insanely good, like he was just destroying me, but he was being nice about it, which was nice. And I was talking to him and just getting his feedback about like, oh, like, what do you think of the mode and stuff? He's like, oh man, he's like, this is all I'm playing since it came out. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then, but I do this for everything. So like new protocols up, I'll go in and I'll be there and I'll talk to the players who are playing it and stuff like this, just to get these feedbacks and say, when
Maybe if
the
I
season
actually played the
launches,
events,
first
I would
week,
maybe get
I'm on
this.
every night and I'm playing and I'm checking the comms, see if someone's willing to talk. Be like, what do you think of the season? What do you think of this or whatever?
Yeah.
So now what's gonna happen is when you get this random like dude asking you about the game, you're like, is that Mills?
Yeah.
But yeah, so
They know your voice very well now, so they're probably like,
like I get a voice changer or something.
yeah. Good. Okay, we got more questions coming in. Do you guys plan on returning the old Outbreak event?
I mean, we did bring it back like not that long. Well,
A few years ago.
one version of it. Yeah, it was on Consulate, right? So maybe we like reactivating events for multiple reasons. One, because they're fan favorites. It's something that people are interested in.
Outbreak. Kinda
and
broke Siege
They
for a
have
bit, though.
collections that people really want as well.
Cheaters had crazy
there are
cheats because of
collections
them.
that see. This is the annoying thing. Now I'm going off the rails again.
That's okay.
Even as a dev, I don't get access to all the collections, like the stuff that I missed as a player. Like, so I have to wait for them to come around too, so then I can get them myself. So, because like I
See,
can't
China, he
just
wants
go in the
Marketplace
bag and be
back
like,
too.
"Oh, hey, just unlock those for me." But so I look forward to that as a player whenever we reactivate an event that maybe I wasn't there for, and that's always nice. So it is something that we're always looking at. Again, from an engagement point of view, do players enjoy it? Do they have a good time with it? And then there's maintenance. This is a very real development thing because the game continues forward every time, and those events are kind of locked in a time capsule. And when we go to reactivate them, maybe systems, as we talked about, everything's connected. A bunch of systems that were there are now gone, or they've been updated to like new versions. So now we have to go back and retroactively like clean up all this stuff. And if you look at Siege where it is now, we have new lighting system, new sound system. We have all new like materials and stuff like that that are running. So all that work has to be usually updated to kind of match it. So the cost of bringing some of this stuff back has to be weighed in as far as the engagement of it.
I don't think it'd be
Personally,
worth it to bring
me,
back
I
Outbreak.
would love for us to have access to, and I've said this before, the access to the history of the game so that players can experience it all. So as we get that opportunity, we bring
Like the
things
modded
back. In
Siege
fact,
stuff
I
we've
think we
been
already
doing.
announced that we're bringing back an old event,
Grand Larceny.
Grand Larceny, later this year. Same idea. We want to bring these back and kind of have them relived. So
Awesome.
I'd say never to say never, but it's definitely a cycle. And because of the amount of work that goes into it, we have to be very strategic about it.
All right. That makes sense, but maybe you'll see it back, right? That's the thing. Cool. So next question. We got a few more. We're running out of time. We have like time for a couple more questions, guys. For the upcoming new scope for defense, will we see it on attackers as well?
Oh, generally speaking, okay. It's really early to
You don't have
talk
to
about
say
that.
anything if you don't-
No. Like I think there's a philosophy thing that's talked about here where it's something that we're dealing with and we've continued to deal with. Where if there's a weapon on both sides, it causes problems,
Right.
Because the motive on both sides is different. Like a defender can sit there and hold an angle forever, whereas an attacker has to move through the kill zones because they have to.
Please
take
don't
the
add
round.
new weapons with
So
defense.
that's always the difficulty there if there's a weapon shared on both sides, because if you hurt it on this side or change it on this side, you're going to affect the other side. When we're talking about the like attachments, like I think that's a very real conversation about which attachments will go where. Like obviously the majority of our ACOGs are on attack now. Like I mean, all Mega
And
Fights
honestly,
on ACOG,
they should all just be
on
gone on
attack,
defense.
and there's limited on defense. We've already made those decisions at one point, and like continuing to evolve that and figure out what attachments make sense for one side versus the other. So I think there is a real chance that you're going to see more of that in the future, where there is exclusive to one side of the fight versus the other to keep that asymmetrical nature alive.
Fair enough.
I sort of
And
question
we
something
have-
about scopes. Did they
okay,
announce a
one
new
more
scope?
question here. Just I gotta pick one. So
Or are
I'm
they saying
trying to be
bring
fair to
new
everyone
scopes
here.
to defense?
I feel like we already answered that. So, are there plans to nerf Dokubi's weapons or remove some of them?
So sort of. So the reason I say sort of is because obviously DMRs are a hot topic, and they have been for a while there. And I think I was on the checkpoint last time saying, oh, we're looking into DMRs and stuff. And that's very much true. And the true realization here is that our recoil system that we use for our weapons does not actually effectively represent that weapon class. So if you look back ages ago, you'll see these cool like dev documents talking about, or docs or whatever, talking about how the recoil system works in Siege.
Yes.
That system's great for a lot of our weapons, but not for DMRs. So we don't have the flexibility we need within that system, because we've, just like a remaster, we've gone in and hit every lever on it and been like, this is not hitting the mark. Like it's not working. Right. So we got to rebuild that. So DMRs, we're looking into rebuilding the actual recoil system for them so that we can reinvigorate what that weapon class is.
So I guess that means higher recoil.
That said, that takes time. And I mean, as we know, this is a pain point running.
But that's not going to fix the issue.
On DMR right now, so
it's going to stop the
we
low
wanna
rank
make
people
sure
from
that
using
we
it, but not
can
the high
adjust
ranks.
this in the short term while folks are experiencing it. So in season 3, we'll actually be making adjustments to DMRs on defense in a bigger way here. So like a couple things we're adjusting here, but that will be our stand-in while we rebuild a new recoil system for DMRs as a weapon class. So that'll take a little bit longer, but that's what we're aiming for right now. So yes, this will affect different operators, obviously DMRs in general.
Okay. There's one more, not like related directly, but it was a question that seems interesting because you talk about reworking recoil for the DMR. Someone's asking about reload animations and saying that sometimes you don't see the reload and it's frustrating. Is there anything being done to maybe address that, or?
What do you mean you don't see the reload?
They're saying that the animation isn't playing. I believe that's what they're saying. So I'm not.
That sounds like a bug.
Yeah, it sounds like a bug.
It sounds like a bug. So because there's 2 stages to every reload animation, or at least there should be.
Yeah.
So maybe you're not maybe it's not appearing or whatnot.
Yeah.
Basically, there's the full reload, which obviously like the mag is removed completely and then replaced, and the gun's readied. That's great. If you start the reload and the mag is released from the platform and then you animation cancel it, the mag will be gone, and then you'll get the second half, which is the mag going back in.
Right.
Both of those sequences should always be there, because if there's one thing that has to be true in Siege is that it's a reliable, consistent feedback that leads to decision making. And if that is not there, then that's a problem. So it sounds like a bug. And
I think so too.
if you've got a specific weapon, I don't know
Yeah.
who it is.
Gonna
There's a
say,
camera
if
there.
they're talking
So
about
I don't know who it
animations
is,
not
but,
being
if it's a specific
accurate,
weapon, please just like hit us up, like send a message in or whatever.
What
and
are the
we'll-
most
we'll take a look
inaccurate
at it.
Yeah, give us
ones?
more
Thank you.
details for sure. And let us know
AK-12
what's
is pretty
chambers.
bad.
That's what we were talking
See, one in the chamber is basically yeah, the mag's gone,
Yeah.
but whenever you initiate the
guns are
reload,
really
at that point,
bad.
a fresh mag will come up.
Exactly.
So like you're still gonna get that. Like there should always be that feedback, because not only is it
like the
visually
new
for you,
AR, I
it's
was also
third-person
experiencing it
animation
with.
will be represented, so we'll actually see the reload, but you'll hear it as a like a.
Oh, the
attacker defender,
para.
depending
Yeah,
on
the
what side
para is
you're on,
so
because
bad.
that was the whole one in the chamber
It's
push.
never
was
accurate.
When I hear someone reload, I want to know that that gun is non-lethal, unless there's one in the chamber. So, but if you know the weapon platforms like really, like you're a real nerd about it, you can tell that one doesn't get one in the chamber, and then push them. Anyway,
That's cool. Yeah, but again, like guys, let us know. Like, give us more details on issues you're experiencing, and we can determine if it's just
Yeah.
a bug on your side or if it's actually an issue that others are experiencing as well. I do have one more question because it seems like an interesting one. Will frag cooking come back in some way, shape, or form?
We don't need that.
Put that one in.
yeah. Yeah, you had to get one. No, no, not likely. And the reason for this, and it's the same thing that I kind of mentioned, where it's like action and reaction is something that's really important to Siege, where you need to have different.
People always
options on
argue
what
it
you
was
can do
skill,
in any
but
given situation, and
literally
the depth charge kind
uncomfortable.
of thing that we were getting with cooking of nades was problematic for a lot of reasons. But that said, we constantly investigate different ways in which we allow you to utilize your utility. Utilize your utility.
Yeah.
Say that fast. Wow.
That's a tough.
But the idea of like just cooking a nade right perfect and then knocking someone out, it's not a
There's no reaction time.
there's
Yeah,
not
just all of a sudden you're
You're
gone.
just done.
a great experience there, and it's the reason we went with the way they are now is to force all the other skill sets in Siege. So if I can throw a nade into like behind like a half wall or something like that on border, I'm gonna force that fight at that point, because you're gonna move and you're gonna die.
Right.
And then like you may get me like in that fight, because maybe mechanically you're a better shooter, but you're gonna have to do it from a point of panic, and I'm gonna try to put that pressure on you, or maybe I got a buddy doing a cross on you or something like this. So, but it sets up for the next step of decision making, and we really want to drive towards that.
All right.
I don't know about you guys. I've loved
It's
how
not
nades
always
are
easy to
now.
address
They're
those,
more
but it's a
utility than
really
just
interesting.
free
I think it's
kills.
an interesting conversation about the reaction points and everything that you have to have in Siege, and something like it's more about
It's the depth of the
placement
game.
an aid. Sorry?
It's the depth of the game.
Yeah.
Like there's so much that goes into Siege,
Yeah.
and so many different mechanics that you have to understand and master. And like, I mean, I find this with myself, or at least I did for a while, and I got better about it. But you get analysis paralysis, where you're like, well, if I do this, and he'll do this, and then this will happen, and this will happen. And I'm like, oh, and there's 30 seconds on the clock. Cool.
Sorry, there's more stuff. Okay. Last one for real, guys. No more after this. SMG 12. Is it going to be
Oh.
nerfed? Is the question.
We have plans for it, so
Okay.
it'll be coming.
All right, there you go. You got your answer. Hope you guys are all happy. No, but seriously, thank you so much for all of the questions, all the comments, and everything.
have
Keep them
plans.
coming
I
in.
think
Don't
these
just
are
do it
the
on
last two
Checkpoint. Go on social
checkpoints.
media. The seasonal surveys. Make sure you submit your feedback there, guys, because we're watching everything, and we always want to hear how things are
When?
going with
Soon.
you. And if you're enjoying the game, that's the most important thing. So that is going to do it for today. Thank you to Chris, Josh, behind the scenes. We have our technical team. We have, of course, Jackson right here, who's been showing off his skills. I think doing a pretty darn good job, if I do say so myself. And yeah, that's going to do
been
it for
dead every
today,
single
guys. We'll be
round.
back at the beginning of August for our next checkpoint focus
No,
on
it's
player
hard
protection. But for
to-
now, we wish you a great afternoon.
Try to be good at Siege when you got the focus on you. Happens. Okay. So we'll quickly go over a lot of the stuff they talked about. I feel like they did a pretty good job of actually explaining everything, so I don't feel the need to like go deep dive into a lot of this like I normally do. But big shout out for them shouting me out. Some creators with whiteboards out there paying attention and watching. But so what did we talk about? With rank 3.0, they're looking to make tweaks because they said they realized that placements are not as impactful as people wanted them to be. They don't want people to be able to get champ easily. They're reducing how many people will get champ, and this is, I think, a big one for a lot of people. A lot of people were pissed that they're like, oh, but I'm not top champ, or like I want to be champ, blah blah blah. But like having 10k plus is way too much. So now they're reducing it down to about 2,000 per platform, which is a massive decrease. And then they also mentioned, because people always ask this, does KDA affect your ranked at all? No, it has no impact at all. And they made a good point. They're like, supports need to have some type of incentive to be a support. If it was all based off KDA and stuff, people would just only go for kills and nothing else, and that's not good. I didn't understand their whole calculation for the MMR thing. I'll have to listen back to that and write it out, but I tried to wrap my head around it, and someone even wrote it in chat, and I still was confused. I didn't understand how it worked, but, you know, I dropped out of math for a reason. And then they also said, people were complaining about this in my chat when they mentioned it, but they said you had to win 4 more matches than you lose in order to keep ranking up. And someone was like, well, an 80% win rate, that's too much, but eventually everyone should plateau. I know people want to always rank up, but that shouldn't be a thing. You shouldn't, and not everyone should always be able to rank up forever. Because if that's how it worked, people would just forever, like, or everyone would just get to champ, and that wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be special then, because as long as we go with what chat wants, which is like, you gain more than you lose. If you get a 50% win rate, you just get champ for free. And then we go back to the old problem of 10,000 champs, which is not fun because everyone's champ then. So I don't know, I'm fine with this because eventually, you know, let's say you're playing 200 matches and you have to win 4 more than you lose. Like, let's say you win 120 and you lose 80. That's still a whole rank division. You're going from gold to platinum in 200 matches, which I know doesn't seem like a lot, but like, if you're not platinum plus, you know, a 60% win rate and being up a whole rank is still pretty good. Because eventually, yeah, then you'll just plateau in platinum and then you won't rank up anymore. So Dokubi stuff, they basically just said they understand she's overpowered and they kind of expected it. Everything that they kept doing for her made her weaker, so then they just overcorrected and now they're going to nerf her, which they also said here, which I'm a big fan of. Stronger is always better than weaker. It is always better to have an overpowered operator than an underpowered operator. But they're looking at more things to nerf her. They said the cooldown is going to be changing from a global 7-second cooldown to an individual 7-second cooldown in the mid-season patch, which means I guess you'll be able to call, like, let's say you call Mozzie, he hangs up, then you can call Castle right away. But if you try to call Mozzie again, it'll be a 7-second cooldown. They're also going to be bringing back more counters. I don't understand why this is like something they have to do a big rework on, but maybe just so the systems are in place. But Mute and Tubby will then counter her again. And then Calypso Casino. So I remember I said this and people were like, no, you're crazy. I was like, I know until mid-season it's going to be in every single map pool and it's going to be unbannable until end of season. And people were like, no. They always said first update that it would become, or it'd be removed from the map pool as a guarantee, blah, blah. And they're like, no, we did change it. It originally was mid-season. They put it to the first update. And that's because people were complaining. I'm sure they looked at the data. They said that Calypso Casino was being played insanely more than every other map. So they wanted to make it not as popular. But in my opinion, I think the way they handled Calypso Casino was perfect. I don't know about everyone in chat. For me, it helped me learn the map really quickly. It also made me a better player than most people on the map because we understood like the layouts, the mechanics, and everything we need to do to perform better. Meanwhile, a lot of people who normally hate maps and don't want to learn them struggled on it and they lost. I know people are going to complain because they're like, well, I hate the map and I'm losing on it, so fuck this map. But like this, I don't know, it rewarded people who are actually trying to learn, and it felt like it made a lot of people improve on the map way faster than normal. Because like there's still a lot of people who don't know how to play Lair, who don't know how to play Nighthaven Labs, even though those maps have been out for like 4+ years, because they just don't want to learn any map that they don't like want to. Anything that's new that comes out, they're like, I just won't learn it. But for Calypso Casino, I don't know. I think they handled it well. I think the adjustments they made are good. I think any new maps in the future, if they continue to do this setup, will be perfect. But they're gonna release one new map every like 4 years, so we don't have to worry about that. I do wonder what they're gonna do about the incentives. They mentioned adding incentives to get people to choose that map or like play that map instead of banning it or avoiding it. And I mentioned, I think this would be too much, but imagine getting extra RP on wins on Calypso Casino. Like imagine you don't ban Calypso, you play it, you win, and they give you, instead of 25 for a win, they give you like 40. People would go crazy and like be memorizing the map and learning it as fast as possible just to get as much MMR as they can per match. So I don't know. It probably would fuck up the whole rank system, which wouldn't be good. But I do think they had to add something to make it more of a reason to learn. Because like, imagine that even the people who still want to not learn new maps, now they are just going to miss out on the incentive, and the people who are willing to grind and learn it will rank up, I guess, a little bit faster. It can't be too much. I mentioned double. That'd be way too much. But like, it has to be something. They have to give you more of an incentive for actually playing and learning it compared to everyone else. And then for 1v1, for everything that you guys missed, they basically are making a ton of changes to make it faster. They're bringing it back in the mid-season, which was very surprising. Last I heard, they weren't planning on bringing it back anytime soon. So the fact that they're bringing it back for mid-season is very, very quick. They said they're going to invest into a ranked in the future. Prep phase is shorter. Map or your objective will be revealed. They're adding more maps. There's going to be better matchmaking. No more bans. It'll just be attrition. So if you win on Solid Snake, you can't play Solid Snake again. If you win on Dokkaebi, you can't play Dokkaebi again. All coming in the mid-season, but no ranked in the mid-season. And they want to work with the community to make it, but it's not going to be a permanent mode, which is interesting. Or at least not yet. They said maybe in the future, but they have been burned by Dual Front, which makes sense. And then in the Q&A, we had some generic questions, which I feel like they're not all amazing. I didn't write them all down, but these were the better ones. So people were asking about adding skill decay so that if you, let's say, only play unranked or quick match and you don't play ranked, that your rank decays over time. Or if you take a 2-week break, your rank decays. They said they have no plans to do that for active players, only if you miss the entire season, which I feel like missing the entire season is a bit high of a requirement, but maybe they've found that they don't need to decay people who are still active unranked players. I don't know. Voice chat, they said there's a lot of bugs that they are addressing in the mid-season. So the big thing for everyone in chat, they said, do not, until mid-season patch, go to match replay or go to the shooting range without restarting your game. If you do the shooting range or the replay or any type of offline mode, you have to restart your game after, and it will eliminate a lot of the voice chat bugs. Apparently, going into a single player thing and then going into multiplayer just bugs the shit out of voice chat. They mentioned with testing grounds, they want to add more. This is one thing that I was really surprised about. And so in my opinion, they should have always been doing from the get-go what they want to do, where they were like, they told us that with testing grounds, they were going to release things that were really buggy and really unprepared just to get feedback. But then everything that they've released so far, or everything that they've planned on releasing, is super refined. And I'm like, that seems like a waste to put so much resources into making sure something is basically ready to be fully released, just to put it into testing grounds for 2 weeks and then take it away. Like the half reinforcements, they should be putting that in. If it's a little bit buggy, it's buggy. Who cares? I think when they announced it to us, they were like, there won't even be models ready. Like, it'll just be mechanics and stuff. I'm like, that's fine. I'm fine with that. But then they never did it. So now they said they're going to be shifting back more towards that, where they don't feel like it needs to be as ready, and they're going to be pushing out more often. But still, the next testing grounds will be in season 4, and then I assume it's in year 12 where they're going to start, updating more frequently. This one was also interesting for me to know about because people kept telling me I was crazy. So, Ubisoft added squad-based matchmaking. What does this mean? If you're in a 5-stack, the game will prioritize putting you only against 5 stacks. For a while, this became a big detriment to a lot of people because in high ranks, you would be in matchmaking for like 20 plus minutes. And they're like, this is bullshit. I just want to play the game. So then they lowered it. A lot of people complained. They lowered it. And now squad matchmaking is not that impactful, which is why a lot of us will still be like solo queue, dual queue, going up against a 5-stack, and you're like, well, we're fucked. They said they still want to tweak it, and I guess it's based off ranks as well, because it said in the higher ranks it's way less of an impact. When in my opinion, I feel like in the higher ranks it should be more impactful. I know that reduces or makes queue times way longer, but like I feel like a 5-stack in champ versus a bunch of solos in champ, compared to a 5-stack in gold versus a bunch of solos in gold, I feel like that champ team has way more of an advantage being a 5-stack than the gold team does over their other gold team. Because like the higher ranks will take advantage of everything they can. And I know it sucks to have a longer queue time, but like at least, you know, make them wait a bit longer, like 10 minutes, and then open it up. I don't know. Big news for anti-cheat though. 2 big things. Stat cancellation. They're working on it for end of year, where if you play against a cheater, the cheater gets banned, they're going to remove those stats from your account. So like let's say you go 0-9 in a match against a 5-stack of cheaters, and you're like, fuck, my KD is now ruined because of these cheaters. By the end of the year, ideally, those stats will be wiped. Once the cheaters get banned, those 9 deaths get removed from your account, and your KD will re-level. And then on top of that, with anti-cheat, they are going to be doing something big with recoil scripting for PC in Season 3 and then console in Season 4. I'm very surprised that the PC update is coming out before the console update, because as a longtime PC player, I don't really ever see recoil scripters. I don't think of them to be as much of an issue. So I don't know why they're prioritizing getting it out on PC first. Because in like all of my years, I've maybe come across like 2 recoil scripters. Meanwhile, on console, if you're in the higher ranks, there's at least 1 recoil scripter in like every game. Not in the lower ranks, mainly just like Emerald Plus. But like that should be number 1 priority. Like fix it on console ASAP, you know? They also said they had a huge crack on DMAs, which I assume just means like DMAs will be offline for a bit and then they'll probably get updated and come back online. DMA's never-ending battle, unfortunately. But those will hopefully be big anti-cheat stuff, because that will make console much more enjoyable, hopefully make PC more enjoyable. And then last but not least, they said DMR nerf coming in Season 3 for defense. And then later, they're looking to completely rebuild the recoil system. My concern, why I don't think that necessarily will be a good thing, recoil nerfs only affect below or average or below average players. Because unsurprisingly, if a gun gets more recoil, the people who are really good at the game will be able to adapt, and the people who are not as good will not be able to adapt. Meaning DMRs on defense, like let's say they increase recoil, blah, 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 DMRs are still going to be a huge problem in the higher ranks, because pros and Diamond Plus players will be able to adapt to that. Now, we don't know if that's exactly what they're going to do or what they plan on changing overall, because they just said they're going to rework the system and then go from there. But I'm not looking forward to it just being a recoil change, if that is what it is. That's kind of what I said. I tweeted about it today about an SMG-12 possible nerf. I was like, if you nerf the recoil, nothing happens, because recoil scripters will just be able to scale and be able to counter it, and really good players won't be affected by recoil changes. They'll just control it better. So you have to do other types of changes, and one of my possible suggestions for an SMG-12 nerf was to change it to a burst fire weapon. So like instead of it being auto fire, 0 recoil with a recoil script, you can make it 0 recoil, but it's still a burst. And at the end of the day, a burst is not going to kill someone. So I feel like they need to tackle more mechanics of the gun as opposed to just recoil. So for something like DMR, in my opinion, if they wanted to do a full DMR nerf that will make it not super popular on both attack and defense, you're slower when you use them. So like LMGs, you run slower. and make it way longer to aim down sight. If it takes 1 second to aim down sight right now, make it 2 seconds. So you can't get into close quarter fights with them. Because DMRs are a 2-shot weapon at almost any range. But they shouldn't be a close quarter weapon. You shouldn't be able to quick aim down sight and kill someone. So make it just take longer to aim down sight. That would not require a whole recoil update, I don't think. But maybe it would. I don't know. And then lastly, because I already see someone in chat asking, I'm sure a million people are asking. Marketplace update coming in a blog post next week. That is all they have to say. Apparently they're going to be doing a complete like restructure of the system to make it more stable for the economy. I don't know. They threw a bunch of like marketplace buzzwords in there I didn't really understand, but next week they'll be updating. My guess, I don't think marketplace is coming back until year 12 or maybe season 4 of this year. So December or February is when I think it'll come back, which I know a lot of people don't like. But again, it's better that they bring it back in a really stable state than it would be to rush it out and then have it break and then have to take it down again. And remember, at the end of the day, I know people complain. People are already complaining in chat with my prediction. At the end of the day, Marketplace does not affect your ability to play Siege. Marketplace being up or down does not impact the game at all. Sure, you might not be able to buy skins. That sucks. But skins come out like every month at this point. So if you can't get these skins, you'll just get the next skins whenever the Marketplace comes out. It does not matter that much. I know people want to sell their skins. I know they want to make some money and then buy other stuff. You can live without it for now. It sucks, but you can live without it. It does it does impact Ubisoft's pockets, and that's why you know that they're doing what they can to bring it back online as quick as possible. Because if it is impacting their pockets, they're not waiting until December or February just because they say fuck the players, we don't care. That's them rushing it as fast as possible to make sure it actually is stable and will not cause like further issues or other leaks, So they're doing what they can as fast as they can. It's just a lot of people in chat in the community want them to be like, Marketplace online, if someone hack, turn off. Like that's not how coding or any of that works. So now if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to ask, but I feel like we've addressed everything, and obviously there's only so much I can say. Since you can ask me a question, I could just be like, I have no idea, but we can try to talk. Someone in YouTube chat said that the huge crack that they had on DMA is the detection of third-party aiming devices. 3 games have finally managed to do it, so R6 will be the next, and I'm sure a huge ban wave will be soon. So I'm assuming what that means is that another game, probably like Valorant, found a way, which is they were the ones who cracked DMA like 2 weeks ago or something, found a way to detect patterns or code that's being manipulated for that, shared it with other industries, and now Siege is going to be implementing it, which if that is true, that is huge. Did they say anything about the recent VG feat videos? They did not. They did mention me, though. Like, I'm sure there's some creator out there with a whiteboard writing all this down. I was like, that's me. MNK for console, mid-season. And they said it's just plug in a mouse and keyboard and you can play on PC lobbies. A lot of people keep forgetting, don't forget, if you plug in a mouse and keyboard on console, you're not playing against controllers, you're playing against PC lobbies. Just remember that, okay? Cheater association bans, they did not say anything about that. My guess is that until they start cracking down on a lot of these other things, they're too worried about doing cheater association bans. And I'm not blaming him, but obviously with the whole King George situation, they're probably a lot more hesitant to act because then people will expect King George to get banned, which I don't think is going to happen. And a lot of people like to see stuff as black and white, and even I'm at fault of that. Like, obviously, I'm like, oh, if you play with a cheater for over 100 matches, how could you not possibly know? And then a situation like the King George one comes out where you're like, okay, it kind of makes sense. The guy only cheated when he wasn't playing with King George. It was King George's real life friend, from my understanding, of years, so he never expected him to cheat, and everyone in the stock even said, this guy's ass, how is he cheating? So there are possible situations where people could cheat and you'd have no idea, which means that we shouldn't be banning off the first associated ban. But then what's the limit? How many people do you go like what's the target before you start banning everyone, and then do you also include content creators in that? It's a very complicated topic. I'll even admit I was wrong when I was like, nope, if you play with the cheater, just ban. Who cares? There's no possible way that you wouldn't know. It's always a lot more gray, not as black and white as people like it out to be. I do think there should be a limit, but I don't know what that limit would be. Let me see what some other people said. I like how someone said they got really mad at me because I said marketplace does not affect your guys' ability to play the game, and then he said it does affect it because I can't buy stuff, so Ubisoft should be doing everything they can to bring it back.
Dex, bro.
Or wait, no, you're saying they're doing everything they can to not bring it back. Oh, no, you're just stupid. So here, let me explain why marketplace is really, really good for Ubisoft, and you have no idea what you're talking about. Marketplace removes currency from the market. Currently, let's just say, for example, there's 1 billion credits out there, right? Whenever you buy something on the marketplace, they take a 10% cut. So if everyone uses all those credits, the billion currency now goes down to 900 million. And then people keep buying. That'd be 810 million. They keep buying. That would go down to, I don't know, like 740K or 740 million. And it just keeps reducing the amount of currency. So then eventually people have to buy currency to buy more stuff. So it is really good, actually, for marketplace to come back because then people start buying more currency. The thing that they're going to have to do in order to make it not affect them negatively is region lock currency. So you can't buy credits in like India and then use them in North America, something like that. But no, the marketplace is actually insanely good for Siege and for the devs, and they will be doing everything in their power to bring it back. I know you're probably just going to be like, no, you have no idea what you're talking about. This is so bad for them. You have no idea what you're talking about. If anything, I'm more in the know since I actually talk to the devs and work with them at workshops. You're just assuming because you're a kid who thinks, I know this, so this must be true. Oh, yeah. He even kind of proved he's dumb. It doesn't remove currency from the market because people are selling stuff they get from packs and renown. And how are people buying it? With credits. And where do those credits come from? From people buying credits. You can't buy intelligence. I'm also going to eat a bit because my fries are already getting cold. Economic expert over there. He keeps repeating the same stuff, so I'm not even going to respond to him anymore. He has no idea what he's talking about. It can be explained to you but not understood. Yeah. People be dumb. But I'd say the biggest thing for me that came from this entire discussion was I was most surprised by the 1v1 stuff. I did not think they were going to push it out that quickly. Which is good. Honestly, they should be listening to the community. If community wants to play 1v1, push it out ASAP. And then I'd say the other thing that I was most surprised by was the probably the fact that they announced that they want to keep less than 2,000 champs per platform. They went from first it was originally there was a maximum of 1,000 champs per region per platform. So there could be max 1,000 PC champs in North America or console champs in North America. And then they made it uncapped. And then one season we had like 29,000 or something. Or I think it was even more. I think it was like almost 40,000 champs on PC alone. and then they made it a bit harder. So then it went down to, I think they said last season they had 10,000 plus, and then now they're trying to bring that down all the way to 2,000 per platform. They want to gatekeep champ as much as possible, which I know a lot of people in chat aren't happy about because they want their participation trophy, but it's better for the game if the champs are actually champs instead of just being given champ. Actually, oh, the one stat that was kind of surprising that he mentioned was that the rank differential between the top champs and bottom champs was as large as the rank differential from champ to copper. So copper starts at like 0 or whatever, and champ would be 4,500. And they were like, the top champs were at 9,000. They literally would double the MMR of a first-time champ player, which is insane. Obviously, the skill is not going to be the same. It's not going to be like the same difference. It's not going to feel like the top champ is playing against a copper. But that's still a massive amount of difference. So yeah, they are doing what they can to make it as hard as possible to just go crazy high in ranked. And yeah, it should be difficult. But yeah, I think that's about it that we're gonna mention. I think overall that was a good panel, and they covered a lot of topics that people were asking about. I don't know about you guys. I know a lot of people like to complain saying Ubisoft never listens, fuck Ubisoft, all that stuff, but I feel like with these community checkpoints, they've proven that they do listen. And they do like actually react quickly in some aspects. Obviously, everyone always wants Ubisoft to react instantaneously, but we know that's not possible. You can't just instantly change everything because someone said, I don't like this, and then they're going to just completely change it. Like, it's just not how it works, you know? So I think these community checkpoints have been good. They said the next one's going to be in early August. I'm assuming it'll probably be right before EWC, so we'll cover that one. They said that one's going to be more about anti-cheat and player protection and all that stuff. So that's it for the panel. All right, I stopped the recording.
I just love Dex, bro.
Now I need to fix all this. There we go. Trying to think if I should bother taking a photo of it and posting on Twitter. Maybe I will. The hell? My desk is hitting something. It keeps hitting something and stopping it from going down. It's my Ethernet cord. Oh my god. My stream almost just went offline because of that. Why does this feel too low? Oh no, it's apparently right. Okay. Chat, now time for some gameplay. I do have to eat my food. Everything got cold. It's too busy yapping. The chat, what did you guys think about that dev panel? Dub? L? Be honest. Dub, pretty good. Mid. Dub, decent. I liked it. Okay. If you did miss it completely, I'll be uploading the entire thing to YouTube tomorrow. Should actually probably prepare the editing file for that now. Those chicken nuggets are actually so good. I'm ready to hit legs. Costco chicken nuggies. Got the macros. Whatever that means. Love Chris and Josh. They're so freaking nice. They're pretty cool. I only got to chat with them a little bit at events, but they're always really nice. Opening up Premiere. Would I call that a panel? I don't know where I normally keep it. I'll just say June community checkpoint.
I just love decks, bro.
Oh, I think it went overall pretty well. Chat, just you wait. I'll be on the next community checkpoint on the stage with a whiteboard. Thanks for the 4 months, Zebra. Also, A-Clicks, Charlie, Rainbow Sandwich, Arma with another gifted sub. I'm the Milkman. I missed a bunch. Let's see a second ad. They talk about fixing the high CPU usage. They don't talk about individual small bugs like that. That would be a waste of time. Just because it's like it's a community checkpoint. It's not about individual small bugs that affect, you know, certain people. I like these community panels makes me feel like you guys actually making a point to hear the community and try to make the quality of life better. Now, okay, I can't say much because I'm under NDAs and stuff, but I will say this. I have seen the data collected from surveys, and it is actually insane how much they pull from that and how much it actually impacts the Ubisoft dev team. So if you guys haven't done these seasonal surveys, I would highly recommend you do it, because they go through like every single survey and pull data. Like, they do listen a lot. Never working with you again. They hate everyone and want to make bad games. That is honestly what probably half the community thinks. It is kind of funny because people will just assume that the devs like hate the game and want it to fail, but at the same time they believe that big companies only care about profits and don't care about consumers. Like, if all they want is the game to fail, they wouldn't make any money. So it already like counteracts each other. It's not NDA to talk about an NDA. Not really. You can actually, I think, in most cases, if someone asks you, you could be like, I can't say that I have an NDA. You just can't answer. That's what someone in YouTube chat said, Sippin, that it was about how they could track the devices. But the issue is that Vanguard is very intrusive, or like software. Like it can access everything. BattleEye can't. So I don't know what level of authority the anti-cheat would need to actually act on that. Why would any dev or publisher want a game to fail? It's just people saying that because they don't get exactly what they want, and they just believe that Ubisoft is willfully failing. It doesn't make any sense. What am I eating? Nuggies. I can't do shit. I mean, BattleEye does have kernel level access, but it's like they can see RAM, and that's about it. That's Highguard or Concord or the other one. That's not them wanting to fail. Although, I guess an argument could be made for Highguard that it's not that they wanted to fail, that they just listened to really bad advice. From my understanding, the game wasn't ready and wasn't meant to be announced. And then whoever that guy is, I can't remember, who's in charge of the game awards or whatever, saw the game, really liked it, and was like, I want to put this in the reveal. And then they rushed the reveal, rushed to complete the game. And people were like, oh, the game's not actually that good. So they should have just stuck with their guns and refused to change on that, and they didn't. Yes, Jeff Healy? Is that how you pronounce it? I have like a hive, but I already took an allergy pill today. So I don't know why I have a hive. Do the devs actually play the game or just listen to shitty advice? That's the other thing, is a lot of people also believe that Siege devs don't actually play Siege at all. When, in reality, I know people won't like me saying this, a lot of the devs are probably actually higher ranked than you guys. They do play a lot, and they do have a lot of internal testing. It's just the thing is, everyone wants to just assume that they are the audience that matters, and no one else matters. So people will always be like, the devs don't even play their game. This is affecting me personally, and they didn't do anything about it. But it's like, bro, you are one individual out of like millions. There are concerns that go well above and beyond what you are capable of understanding for Siege. It does not mean that they should only be focusing on things that are personal to you and matter to you, right? But even with all that being said, people are still like, well, this affects me and it should be fixed. It's like, there's a million things that affect a million different people. You are not the only one that matters. What's also important, again, people not understanding, because people are already saying in chat, it's like, but this dev isn't sober. How can you possibly know about the game? Bro, there are coaches in Pro League who are good coaches who are like not above platinum. You don't have to be a super high rank to be able to balance the game necessarily. You just need to know how to read data. I just realized that guy's name. Oh, he was just in. I didn't even see him. I'm the main character. That was honestly how half the community acts. Same thing in Overwatch and Rivals. There's players in Overwatch who are coaches, and they taught me a bunch of stuff, and that made me rank up to high gold. The comparison I always like to use, people say it's not a good comparison, is they're like, well, like, how can we trust these devs if they're not
I just love
champ?
Dex, bro.
It's like,
He's
do
a
you
sneaky
trust
boy.
the coach of a football team to make the right call, even though that coach would not be able to play against these other players? And they're like, well, yeah, of course, he's the coach. It's like, how is that any different than a dev making decisions? It is the same thing. At the end of the day, you don't have to be a active best player in the world just to make decisions. You just need to have the knowledge. Also, that is true. A lot of people do believe it's one single dev making all decisions, bro. There's like 1,000 devs on Siege, all making decisions for the game and working together. It is never just one dev. A coach would know how to play the game, not change the rules. But the coaches are usually big impacts on rule changes. They challenge rules all the time. And then the, I don't know what you call it, the association changes rules based off of that. It's also a good analogy, Odin. Would you trust a daycare worker if they're not a mother of 3 kids? You don't have to have that level of experience just to do what you need to do, you know? I hear them pushing up. Probably should put it on the TV so I can actually see that. He's tagged. I don't know where the last one is. Oh, garage. Nice C4. Nine times out of 10, coaches in any pro sport have played at that level in the past. But why does that matter now? Who's to say that the devs weren't better than you guys now, or better than some of the pros at video games in the past? Obviously, sports have the one unfair advantage compared to esports, where it's the same thing over and over again, versus esports, it's different games in different years. But, I mean, all these devs were gamers growing up. They all have been really good at video games in the past. Just because they might not be the best at Siege now does not mean that that has any impact on whether they can make a decision about balancing or not. I will reiterate, because a lot of people don't understand this. People also think that, like, say, a dev will play on Outback, die to an Azami angle, and be like, nerf Azami. Not how it works, right? They can't just say, yeah, I'm tired of this, and nerf it. There has to be data to back up their point. They do not look at just their experience and go off that. They go off of data of the entire player base, usually heavily skewed towards higher ranks. Is it good to be good at video games to be a dev? No. Just like you don't have to be good at a sport to be a coach. Same thing. I think that's a good spot, but I'm just hoping that they walk past it and don't see it. Oh shit. Good ping, good ping. My camera did actually work. Sounds to me like you've never worked in an office with admins who will change anything at any time regardless of chain of command. The thing is, because I'm assuming you're saying, what was that in reference to? You said they can do whatever they want. So you are wrong. I don't think you'll understand it because you seem pretty like set on like, no, this is how it works. You do realize when you're working with like a live service game, the devs can't actually do what you're saying, which is just to do whatever they want whenever they want. It's just not how it works. Because the game has thousands of components to it that make it complicated. And they also have a pro league scene that hinges on the very fact that certain changes will be made at certain times. So a dev can't just say, oh, I hate this, I'm going to change it, and then fuck over Pro League because they want to change something. And again, you know, doubling down on the fact that you don't know what you're talking about, not once in the history of Siege has that happened where a dev went rogue and changed something because they personally hated it. Because everything gets documented, everything gets put into patch notes, and any change, no matter how minuscule you think it is, will be discovered by pros and content creators. So if we found something to be changed that shouldn't have been changed, and like say the other devs were like, well, we didn't want to change this, they'd change it back. That's never happened. I know people want to have a conspiracy theory and just believe that the devs, again, are out to get everyone, but it's just not how it works. Well, there goes a Thatcher. These are still just in no man's land. Oh, this is... I didn't even realize this was open. Oh, I thought he was still higher up. I didn't think he was holding that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they push for that change, not going rogue. That's not what you said. To literally use your own words against you, so you can't just make shit up. You said, you've never worked in an office where admins will change anything at any time regardless of chain of command. You said, they do not care what anyone says or anything, they just change it and leave it like that. But now you're backpedaling saying, well, I didn't say that, I said. They'll push for it. That's not what you said. Also, Stove said a better, maybe to make the analogy better, instead of a coach, how about a ref? I feel like that'd be a worse analogy because everyone hates refs. Is there still cheaters in every lobby? I have not faced a single blatant cheater this entire season. Haven't played ranked in like 2 weeks though. Actually, no, we played like a week ago. But even all those games were fine. No cheaters. Also, don't get me wrong. I know when we're talking about all this, I might sound like I'm belittling the people who are trying to, you know, add points to conversation. I'm not trying to, but at the end of the day, it is important to always remember, like, that there's nuance to the development of Siege, and it's not all black and white. A lot of people want to see the devs as, again, these evil people that are trying to ruin the game that they love, when in reality, they're trying their hardest to make it as good as they can. Sometimes they do something that you might not be a fan of, and that's okay. Because there's a million plus people who play the game. Everyone has different preferences. So just remember and keep that in mind when we're talking about what is changing and who is in charge of it. It's not all evil people trying to ruin everything for everyone. Okay. Getting spotted by camera. I forgot that wall hadn't even been opened yet. It's still frozen. I was kind of like wondering why the recruit wasn't helping our Deimos. I didn't realize he froze it for that long. Thanks for sub Vista. I also missed a sub from Mad Dog Live with the 5 months. Thank you. What game do you think has some of the best devs for its community? So, it's a hard question for me to answer because honestly, the only answer I can give is Siege because I don't follow any other game to that level. Like, I don't really play any other FPSs. What are, like, the last few games I've even played on? Let me check my Steam real quick. Most of the games I play nowadays are, like, either friend slop or, like, casual games with friends. Like, I don't really play anything to that degree. I guess World of Warcraft now I've gone back into. I still don't keep, like, I don't track everything, be like, oh, an update's coming out this day. It just happens. I'm like, oh, they updated it. But, like, my last few games have been, like, Mecha Chameleon, Stardew Valley, Terraria, Marvel Rivals, Game Bonanza. And then other games I played before that, like in April. That was the last time I played was Mugenics. I haven't played that in a while. I haven't played Battlefield 6 since March. So, like, I don't really follow other games to the same level that I know anything about the dev team. Pierre says old school runes game. Can't agree. I feel like the last game I followed to that level, other than Siege, probably would have been like, I feel like when Overwatch came out, I was following it so much. That was a long time ago, though. That was like in 2016, 2017. Yeah, I don't know. Though, I guess also a good way to put it, so other people understand as well, the like levels there are to people in the community and how much they pay attention to stuff. Think about a casual game you guys play. For example, like how I said, Stardew Valley, me and my friends play it every few weeks. Think about how much you follow that game and how invested you are in a casual game that you play. That is what like 90% of the Siege community is like. Most of them do not look up changes. They do not look up dev blogs or dev posts or reveal panels. They just play. And like in those other games that you guys play, you probably launch it and you're like, oh shit, a new update came out? I didn't even know about this. That's what majority of the Siege community is like. Oh, he's on the enemy team now. Even many creators are more on the casual side and don't deep dive like Varsity does. That was also true, and something I need to remember sometimes because I forget how disconnected a lot of the creators will be, where they just like play to play. They obviously keep up with like when patches drop and stuff like that, but I'll mention these smaller changes that happen, and they'll be like, "I had no idea." Like, how do you have no idea? Or gadget interactions is a huge one. That one I'm always surprised at how little a lot of creators know about that. There are a lot of creators where I'll talk about a certain interaction with a gadget, and they'll be like, oh, didn't know that was a thing. They'll be like, when did that happen? I'm like, 6 years ago? I'm like, oh. They don't pay attention to that. How do the devs balance the opinion between different level players, and are pro player opinions more important? So they kind of talked about that a little bit in the dev panel. It's like they do separate it. They said they have surveys for community, content creators, and pros. So everyone gets their own say on the topics. Okay. Let's get running over here. I wouldn't necessarily say any are weighted more. But it's complicated because it's like people will be like, well, content creators shouldn't have more say than, you know, a casual player. But like content creators play a lot more and have a lot more insight. They might not, you know, be at the same rank as like these silvers and stuff, but they have more or they probably should have more input. Which is kind of how it should work. Didn't even realize that was open. Didn't realize you can just like, I don't know how to describe it. Normally I'm used to those things being one solid unit, but it's literally just like you can break apart the panels. I thought it'd be like you punch it and then the whole Q holder falls off. Without the DMR. I just keep defaulting to it when I don't know what to play. I should be playing Thunderbird though. I'm working on a Thunderbird video that only needs like 1 or 2 more clips. Thunderbird. Oh, and then they already banned Dokkaebi. Fuck. It's just a normal punch or like knife Odin. Zero difference. I think the only difference between an Aruni punch and a normal knife is the destruction. I don't think the Aruni or Scopos punch can break like deployable shields, I don't think. I think it's still all the same for that. One thing that I've been trying to understand, I'm just doing it now because everyone else does it, is why people make a rotate on the left side and not the right side. Maybe so that you have options that you can peek from left and right and not just be stuck on one side. But in my mind, it almost feels better to have the rotate on the other side, because then you could probably stand like this more and like C4 over. Because like if you open up this, reinforce that, they can't shoot you from here, but you could sit here with a C4 and throw it over the wall, right? And then also on top of that, if you do have this open, you can see towards the half wall, like even more. But on this side, you're kind of limited. Oh. Is this a teammate? Oh. What's it called? Oh no, it was shooting range. That is such a weird bug. Doing something offline like shooting range or match replay just destroys your voice chat. Don't really understand how that happens, but it does. It's funny though, because I remember it was Zilchi who told me that going into match replay fixed voice chat bugs, and now they're like, no, it's actually the opposite. It breaks it. You don't know how to click the skin for the mute event? You mean the memento? You gotta buy all the packs, whether with renown or credits. What is better on Wamai, his AUG or the SMG? I think most people run the AUG now, don't they? SMG's more stable. AUG's good, but it also takes up like 90% of your right side of your screen. I'm leaving y'all to hang out with the cat. Alright, panic. Starting to sound like Annie. It's a crazy vert hold on yellow stairs that I run when I go basement. I use Ella and her impacts. Vert hold on yellow. I'm trying to think of where you could even do that. Would it be the balcony? Like the inside balcony mezzanine? I'm gonna do my castle setup upstairs that I was trying the other day. On the top desk, gotcha. Yeah, a lot of people don't play up there because it's too hard. Like someone can repel and kill you before you can even see where they repelled, right? In most offline game or offline mode / games, voice chat is usually disabled. So I guess when you transfer over, it doesn't register. You're no longer in offline game mode. Could be that. But the thing is, I know obviously when it comes to programming, nothing is consistent. Programming is the most inconsistent thing in the world. Even though it should be computer read this and happen every single time, it is not like that. But I can't imagine that would only happen sometimes, not other times. But what do I know? I'm no dev. If we're gonna play this dedicated up here, I'm gonna do an extended hold. Just in case we need it. Me. Actually moved my head thinking I was about to get shot in real life. Oh. Oh, he broke into Barista? I thought he broke the castle. Did I not hear that on my right? I guess I didn't. Yeah, I thought he went over here and broke this. Oh, he's dead. Last one should be the nug. People playing vert. I feel like you have to for that site. Not enough people do it, but we should be holding that upstairs area a lot, like as much as we can. I feel like reinforcing kitchen was a waste. We should instead use those reinforcements on the bar and billiards. That's my thought process. But obviously we're not like a coordinated stack talking or anything, so. Funny how in 2 weeks in the new season I really didn't get casino once and unranked. They used to make it where it would be, what was it, like 50% more likely to appear than every other map. So you would actually get it a lot, but I'm sure people complained about playing it too much, so they stopped. I'm only going to go DMR because I want to see if I can get a clip of me countering the prone angle that people use in kitchen all the time. Where's Priest today? No idea. I'm sure starting on Monday, he's probably going to go back to his normal schedule of not being on during my stream and only being on when his wife gets home and like starts taking care of the kids. They're bringing a DMR. Let's hope she does the angle. I like casino. I'm not sure why people hate it. People hate it because it's something they're not used to, and they hate new things. And I really have a big hive. I don't know why that is forming. Chat. What would go wrong if I take another allergy pill? Am I gonna die? Will it give me brain cancer? And I'll just perish? That was a drone I was looking at. Almost shot it. What pill do I take? Just an antihistamine. For some reason, I thought that was... I don't know why I thought that was, like, castled off or whatever. I just walked in thinking it was all clear. That was dumb of me.
Have you ever considered doing a community rank guessing series where you do 1v1s
Thanks
against
for finding bits
viewers
from
and then
facts. Have
try
you
to
ever
guess their
considered doing a
ranks when the
community
match
rank
is
guessing
over?
series where you do 1v1s against viewers and then try to guess their ranks when the match is over? Not really.
Dex, bro.
I do want to bring back Guess Your Rank, though. I think now with Ranked 3.0, it'll be better. Although, I don't... No, it doesn't show. I was going to say, I was worried that it would show everyone's rank in the replay, but it doesn't do that. There's a Bambino. Alright, I'll probably just do one more chat, and then I'm going to head off. Short stream today. Because I do have to, after stream, go edit that entire 1.5 hour VOD into a video. Which probably won't require a lot of editing, but rendering will take like an hour long for that. And I still have to go to the gym. And then remember, tomorrow, no stream. Tomorrow's my day, my extra day off. I think the current plan will be the days I'm taking off over the next week are tomorrow, Monday, and Wednesday. I think those are going to be my 3 days off. Topical antihistamine have less risk for long-term effects. I'm sure an extra antihistamine won't matter. It's just a generic brand one. Actually, wait, I should be fine. I remember we were talking to... I don't know if you guys would remember him. I don't know if he even plays Siege anymore. Chowderhead. He has like one of the rarest allergies in the world. He's allergic to... Or his skin is allergic to water. So if water comes in contact with his skin, it breaks out into hives. And when I asked him about how he got like what you do to get past that, like what's the treatment or whatever, he's like he literally just takes 6 like antihistamines every morning. He still has to get his liver checked frequently, but like it's fine to do as long as you're not doing it all the time for no reason. Hydrophobia. Maybe? It's literally just like his skin will break out into hives. So before every shower, he'd have to take 6 antihistamines to prevent it from happening. Varsity, why do you think everyone is cheating? First-time chatter who clearly never watches any content other than maybe Hacker Replay, thinking I think everyone's cheating. If you can come up with evidence of me accusing everyone of cheating, I'll answer your question. How about that? Do you know what date next Wednesday is? It's the 1st. Canada Day. You can't get in a pool, hot tub, anything? Nope. Well, I mean, you can, but then, yeah, you just break out into hives. He told me he was like one of 26 in the world that have this allergy. I think he has what's called aquagenic urticaria. Very rare condition where you break out into hives once touching water. Oh, we got Rusty on our team, bro. Oh man, we got a champ stack on our team. God damn. It's gonna be a very fast last game. Oh, also thanks for their bits from Arma. Benadryl has been proven to increase risk of early dimension. I think Allegra Clarity will be okay. I don't think I've... Actually, no, that's not true. I've taken Benadryl once in my life. It was when we were on the cruise and I ate something that gave me a whole, like, body hive reaction. And we went to the medical bay. We had our insurance and everything ready. And they're like, you're just going to need Benadryl. And we're like, okay, we got our insurance. Like, we'll pay for it with that. He's like, it's $10. I was like, oh. Just because it was an American cruise, I just assumed they were going to charge us like $10 million for one dose of Benadryl. I think some people just can't comprehend how not good they are at the game, so they think other people must be cheating. Well, the person who came in chat said I'm accusing everyone of cheating, which I'm assuming just means that he watches like one clip of me doing a hacker replay review, and he's like, this guy thinks everyone's cheating. But it's like, bro, people do not comprehend that I do cheater reviews, not just playing all the time. Oh, he's on the window. Why did he throw that nade in there? Threw a tiny little slit. I thought he threw it from bottom white. Damn. Yeah, they just assume that I accuse everyone cheating, which I know I'm biased when I say it. But I do feel like... Oh my god, what am I watching, bro? I do feel like when you compare me to a lot of other content creators, I feel like I barely accuse people of cheating. Have they made it clear on our 6 tracker stats that someone gets banned for cheating? No. Ubisoft has removed that information from being shared through their API. The best bet you have is when you look at their last match, if it was canceled by anti-cheat and they haven't played since, it usually means they got banned. Why am I in gold PC lobbies facing former console champs? So everyone who plays Siege for the first time ever has a default rank of silver 1 to gold 5. Okay? When you go from console to PC, your rank does not carry over. You are starting over fresh. So all the people who are now with rank 3.0 playing in console lobbies are now gold. In my Copper to Champ series that I'm doing right now, it's in gold, and I've faced a lot of console champs, like an insane amount. And it's just because they have to start somewhere. I think it should probably carry over some of your rank from console. I don't know why it does nothing, but it definitely shouldn't be the exact same. I guess at the end of the day, for them, they're like, they'll eventually get back to where they should be. He's not Skittles. Does Skittles accuse a lot of people of cheating? I don't even know. All I see is I see a lot of reports of other people accusing people of cheating, I'll watch the report and be like, this guy does
just
not
love
look like he's
dicks,
cheating at
bro.
all. I'm not even gonna like humor this. But they're like, no, it's blatant. I'm like, I don't think this is blatant. This looks like just a normal person playing. Thank you for another gifted sub, Arma. A lot of gifties today. I don't know how bad cheating is in low lobbies. Like, I feel like my skill is top bronze, maybe super low silver, but I can always tell when I'm going against a gold or plat. Well, yeah, if you're in bronze, yeah, a gold and plat will be like me facing a pro. Why did that message get flagged, Arma? It didn't even say what flagged it. It just said smart detection. Doesn't seem so smart. Maybe you saying wanna squad up. Maybe Twitch's internal systems would flag that as like a possible scam thing. I don't know. The Black Widow skin came out for Rivals, the summer swimsuit skin. Alright. I'll look at it, Jack. Hold your horses. I cannot explain Renyar. All I can say is that I can sometimes see other people's reports. Help him loose, but I don't want to double up on the same angle. I was gonna swing red, but he went there too. We were just kind of stacked on top of each other here. Any recommendations to aim at head level consistently? So, if you want to aim at the head, don't aim at the body. You're welcome. Bro, this guy got the dual front silver badge. He's got a point. I don't know, man. I'm a body shot warrior. Okay, just for reference. Actually, can I even see this? Okay, I can't see the overall, but to give you guys, I'll have you guys guess. Around what percentage do you think my headshot rating sits at on my alt account, my Copper to Champ account, where I'm in easier lobbies? Tell me what you think my headshot percentage sits at. I have to do a rough estimate because it doesn't show me exactly. I have to just look at all the days and try to like average it out. There are a lot of guesses all over the place. Based off a very quick examination and quick mental math, I think my headshot rating sits at around 25%. The highest day I had was around 44%, and that was during my placements. Ever since then, it's been under 30. I just go for body shots. I do not go for head. And that's with the account having like a 3 KD now. Oh, we just left this open. Someone ran in. IQ. Fuck. I saw a laser as well. What's crazy is I saw the laser. I could barely hear her footsteps. But I saw her laser clear as day. Sitting at 44%. Okay, Rusty. It's like, oh, this, I'm hearing clear as day exactly where he is. That Twitch pushing up had like 0 audio on her. I was basically solely relying on seeing her laser. Sounds like you go for feet, not even body shots. I think the reason why you might think that is because a lot of people who are not great at the game don't have good recoil control. So if they aim at the body, they sometimes get a headshot. But I aim at the body and I control my gun. Not amazingly, mind you, but better than average. So if I'm controlling my gun recoil and I'm just hitting the body, I'm not going to get like crazy high headshots, you know? Also, you know, call it copium if you want. I have been using an insane amount of DMRs this season because it's just too easy. So I can't even get a recoil headshot because when am I going to have my recoil jump up to hit someone in the head? Never. The DMRs just stay perfectly still on the body. I hit 2 shots in the body and they're dead. I think on my ult account, my main operator is Dokkaebi. Here are my top 3 attackers on my solo queue account. Wait, oh. I was like, it had Jackal. I was like, why the fuck do I have Jackal there? Just from this season. Dokkaebi, Lion, and then Grim. I got 20 rounds on Dokkaebi and Lion, 7 rounds on Grim. What is going on in the text chat? What are they saying? Oh, he has an invite skin. Damn. They just lined up for him. just left the entire wall open? I didn't realize he was just in the middle of the bar. I thought he was back in cocktail. Oh, he just ran away. Ever thought about doing small segments like fails of the week or top sells for viewer gameplay reviews? People have talked about and asked about it, but I try to avoid too much of that like viewer reliant content, because I feel like if I just become a review and react channel, I don't know, I just feel like that's boring. I want to play still, you know? Because like I do the PC versus console, but I'm still commentating. I'm still like reviewing or like watching everyone and checking what everyone's doing. So at least I'm still engaging somewhat in that. Hacker replay is the same. But like if I just sit there and I'm like, oh, this person did this. Ha 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 ha. Like, oh, it just becomes react content at that point. I also find that, not to, you know, harp on anyone who does it, but generally when content creators start doing react content like that, it's because they've run out of content and ideas. So if you ever see me doing it, that's probably why I'm doing it. You could give pointers, though, like what someone did wrong. I could, but I don't really believe in that. Again, I could do it. People probably wouldn't care, but to give tips on like a one clip of Siege and be like, oh, they should have done this, is always just so wrong, because there's so much context that people don't know about, because you just look at one clip from one person's perspective and that's it. It's just like saying, oh, you should have done this is kind of meaningless. I've always kind of had that mentality when it comes to giving advice like that. Like, just saying like, oh, this person should have done this is just, it's not real, you know, not real advice. What a fucking Fenrir setup round. Oh, he's dead. I swear I just heard someone here. Oh, I forgot about the 7-second cooldown. Let me call. Did I hit her through the door frame? I can't tell if that first shot killed her or it was the second shot, but it looked like I shot her through the door frame. Warm-up game against a 21 times champ. Told you that would be a very quick game. Did I end up buying Pokemon cards? I did not. Annie talked some sense into me, but also she never wants me to spend money, so like no matter what she said, I was just like, yeah, she's gonna say no. Or not want me to. But I think the biggest thing that made me not want to get into Pokemon card collecting like I had originally thought was that one of my friends from rock climbing, who, I mean, I've told him I'm like borderline gambling addiction, even said I'm like getting out of Pokemon cards. It's too much of a bubble and it's gonna pop real soon. So if my gambling addict friend who loves Pokemon and was collecting cards for years is selling everything and getting out of it, feel like that means I probably shouldn't get into it. Wasn't there something I wanted to check after? I don't think I can't remember what I was going to check. But chat, that is going to be it for today. I know short stream. I know people want me to always stream longer, but we already did the panel review, and I got to go edit and get stuff ready for what's it called? For the whole week, actually. I really got to get 4 videos done soon, and then we're also going to the gym. And remember, tomorrow I am off. Tomorrow I will not be streaming because we have our Canada Day party. Oh yeah, Marvel Gooners. That's what I was going to check. You're right. Where would I even check that? Marvel Rivals.
Are you going to go back and watch the RP breakdown for the loss before you drop the vid?
Oh my god. I accidentally clicked on the wrong video. So, I mean, that's already kind of crazy. We're gonna see more. That's in game? Why don't we get this type of shit in Siege, huh? Bro, I can't even turn down the volume on this. Why is the button up here? Chat. Imagine if Siege had this. Alert Priest. You're right. I'm gonna send it to Priest. Damn. Alright, chat. If only we had that in Siege, huh? Put that swimsuit on Monty now. Put it on Tachanka. I'll be in my punk. I mean, I know people say they hate it, but like at the end of the day, people will buy it. You know? And isn't that all that matters? Okay, chat. That is it. I'm gonna head out. I will be back on... I should be back on Sunday. The only way I'm not here Sunday is if I'm way too hungover, but I don't think that'll be a thing since I don't really drink that much. So I should be here Sunday. Also, wait, before I go, Arma did give 300 bits and ask a question. Are you gonna go back and watch the RP breakdown for the loss before you drop the video? I mean, I'll edit it. I just didn't really understand it. I would need to like see the actual like formula in front of me. But like even when I edit it, like I'll write it down. I'll be like, if I understand it, I'll post it. If not, I'll just leave it. Okay. See you guys on Sunday for Hacker Replay. Okay. Bye.